Are at $4.04 a gallon today in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Continue to protect us on these streets, dear Lord. Father God, I ask you.
A vigil for the young victims after a man killed 8 children, 7 of them his own, pursuing some as they tried to get away. Police say one girl escaped by jumping off the roof of a home. 2 women, one the wife and mother of his children, critically wounded. Mayor Tom Arsenault.
It lets you know that evil still exists in the world and that we need to be fighting everything we can to overcome that.
Police say the incident started as a domestic dispute. They shot and killed the suspect after he stole a car at gunpoint. People who live along Japan's northern San Rico coast are being urged to flee after a powerful 7.5 earthquake that's triggered at least 2 tsunamis so far, the tallest 2.6 feet. The BBC's Peter Hyatt.
The quake struck off Japan's Pacific coast below the seabed. It was strong enough to shake buildings in Tokyo, hundreds of kilometers away, and tsunami warnings were issued at once. People are being urged to leave the coastline, move to higher ground, and not return until it's safe.
Some business owners could have money coming their way from the federal government. Starting today, CBS's Megan Cerullo says they can apply for tariff reimbursements.
Tens of thousands of businesses that paid illegal IEEPA tariffs can submit claims for refunds. Recall, these are the tariffs that the Supreme Court ruled Trump had imposed illegally.
Dow futures down 260. This is CBS News.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, April 25th. Find a collection site near you at deatakeback.com.
It is 6:03 and we have clear skies. It's 44 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. In the news this morning, there are still a lot of unanswered questions about a mass shooting in Centralia, Illinois last night. This shooting happened around 5 p.m. near the 900 block of East Kell Street in Centralia, according to local Centralia outlet WFCN. Multiple law enforcement agencies responded to the scene. Multiple victims were hospitalized, but the number of victims has not been released.
Illinois State Police taking over that investigation now, and they have not released any more information about the suspect or what may have led up to that shooting. We'll bring you the very latest when it becomes available.
A triple shooting at a food truck in Ferguson leaves one person dead. This happened before 6:30 Sunday evening in the 10,900 block of New Halls Ferry Road. Ferguson police responded to the call and found 3 victims suffering from apparent gunshot injuries. The adult male victim died at the hospital. 2 adult female victims were transported to an area hospital for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries.
An early investigation indicates a suspect in a vehicle fled after opening fire into a crowd near a food truck in a parking lot. St. Louis County Police have been called to take over the investigation. No one is in custody at this time.
New details and charges as St. Louis police investigate a deadly Soulard shooting over Easter weekend.
Jabril Oliveria is facing first-degree murder and armed criminal action charges after 21-year-old Lamar Box Jr. was shot dead on April 3rd. The shooting started around 6 p.m. in the Soulard neighborhood, leaving the 21-year-old dead and 2 others injured along South 7th Street and Russell Boulevard. Officers reportedly found Box shot in a crashed vehicle 3 blocks south of the shooting location. Security video also appears to show multiple people in a gunfight inside the gas station before a Box runs out into the parking lot. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
It is now 6:05.
I cannot hear you when you're screaming. I want to hear what I see you and I hear you.
Protesters interrupting Mayor Spencer's first State of the City address.
The start of Spencer's speech was delayed by more than 20 minutes. St. Louis police and state marshals arrested 5 people who face peace disturbance, resisting arrest, and interfering with police charges. Spokesman Mitch McCoy released a statement saying, in part, our officers and marshals were faced with a difficult and evolving situation inside a confined space. Their focus remained on restoring order and keeping everyone safe. Respecting First Amendment rights while maintaining public safety is a balance we are committed to upholding in every situation. Eventually, Mayor Spencer delivered her State of the City speech.
When I took the oath of office just a year ago, I promised a government focused on the basics: core city services, public safety, and growth. I promised that we would start proving, pothole by pothole, brick by brick, that this government, this city government, can set standards and we can meet them. We can meet them. Thank you. That change has started. Our city is on the path to a turnaround, and we are not nearly as far away as some people might think.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
A video that has gone viral and shared with our news partners at Fox 2 shows a massive hole on eastbound 64 headed into East St. Louis. Dean Woods, who shot the video, said he was driving his trailer into Illinois when he saw a car hit a hole and thought, what is happening? Says he barely missed it, but was able to drive around it. Over the weekend, a board was placed over the hole. Repairs will be the responsibility of IDOT.
By the way, if you haven't seen the video or the hole, it is huge, and you can actually see all the way through the bridge deck about 60 feet down. So be careful. Average gas prices in St. Louis fell almost 6 cents per gallon in the past week. According to Gas Buddy, they say gas prices are still 21 cents higher than they were a year ago today. Nationally, the average price of gas fell a little over 9 cents. Diesel going down 12 cents in the past week.
However, Gas Buddy's head of petroleum analysis, Patrick DeHaan, says that price relief might not last long. He says oil prices surged Sunday night after Iran reclosed the Strait of Hormuz, and he warns that if the strait doesn't reopen soon, prices are likely to rise in the days ahead.
From the KMOX business desk, trading spaces in the Delmar Makers District, Ben Paremba is moving his brunch restaurant, Florenton, down the street to the space formerly occupied by Steve's Hot Dogs. That Steve's location, along with the fountain on Delmar, closed earlier this year. The once up-and-coming stretch was hit hard by last year's tornado.
Sunday was the last day of service in the current Florenton location. It'll reopen in that new spot May 10th. Paremba tells the Business Journal this is part of a broader intentional effort to build greater density and cohesion within the Delmar Maker District. He also says he plans to open another new concept in one of the vacant spaces in June.
It is 6:08. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll bring you the very latest on the roadways and the weather. Stay with us here on Total Information AM.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection!
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mira Fiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mira Fiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
Dell PCs with Intel inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. For the time you forgot your charger at the gate.
Passengers, we are now on our initial ascent.
Or when you're bouncing between projects like a ping pong ball. We build PCs with long-lasting battery life, so you're not scrambling for an outlet. And built-in intelligence, so you can stay focused on whatever you're doing. Dell Technologies, built for you. Dell.com/Dell PCs.
Everything you knew about reaching customers online is being rewritten. Time to rethink your approach. Outcomes from Viant finds real customers, not impressions, not clicks, customers. Our AI maximizes every dollar of your budget against the outcomes that matter most and proves it happened. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Come celebrate our Customer Appreciation Days, April 24th and 25th, and save up to 10 to 20% on trees, shrubs, annuals, tropicals, perennials, houseplants, and more. KMOX will be live on Saturday. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com for more details.
It is going on 6:11. Let's check in with Frank Ladd and see what's happening on the roadways from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, crews quickly cleared a stall out of the way northbound on Highway 270 near Dorset. All lanes back open there. That's the good news. North and southbound 170, not seeing any issues. Northbound headed towards 270, southbound headed towards Highway 64. Delay free through the central corridor, east and westbound on Highway 64, essentially from downtown all the way out to Highway 270, both directions there. East and westbound on Highway 44. Delay free between 270 and the city limits. Northbound on 55, not even seeing any slowdown through the construction zones. That's the good news there. Making your way towards downtown St. Louis. Our next traffic update at 6:20. I'm Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A nice day today with plenty of sunshine, or high 69. Clear to partly cloudy skies tonight, though 53. Sunshine mixed with clouds tomorrow. Breezy and noticeably warmer in the afternoon, high 81. Sunshine and a few clouds Wednesday. Another warm day, high 81. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now we have a clear sky, 43 in Florissant, 43 in St. Peters, 44 degrees downtown at the Arch.
There is some good news for state and historically black colleges. Missouri's Senate Appropriations Committee proposed an operational budget last week that would maintain funding at the same level as last year.
Prior to that, the Missouri House passed a $50.4 billion operation budget that includes a reallocation of $1 billion in support of colleges and universities. However, it would be based on enrollments.
Harris-Stowe State University President Dr. LaTanya Collins-Smith tells KMOX Truman State would also suffer significant cuts. Now, if the funding cuts happen, several things have to be looked at, including student recruitment.
Programs, do you cut programs? It impacts the academic environment as well. So you really have to take a look at your day-to-day operations, the institution as a whole.
Collins-Smith is grateful that the Missouri Senate Appropriations Committee is proposing maintaining funding at last year's level. The budget process is ongoing, so the Senate must pass its version of the budget before it returns to the House. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It has been more than 20 years since Lambert International Airport has had nonstop service to London on British Airways. Airport Director Rhonda Homnebergy tells KMOX this shows the strength of our region, and this shows the business community has stepped up to the table.
We've been working on this flight for a long time, just as we did with Lufthansa. And I think for markets our size, when you think about how the industry has changed, airlines that come into these medium-sized markets from European need to know that there's a partnership that's going to last.
British Airways Chief Planning Officer Neil Chernoff says it is an historic day for his airline.
This marks the 27th destination that we serve in the United States. We're the largest European airline to the U.S., and for us, that's something that we pride ourselves on. We've been speaking with the St. Louis airport for quite a while.
Chernoff says St. Louis was lacking the connectivity both to the UK and the rest of Europe. Working with the airport and local community made this a reality to have 4 weekly flights to London's Heathrow Airport.
After less than a year in operation, Delta says it will suspend a nonstop service between St. Louis and New York's JFK Airport. They're calling it a temporary seasonal adjustment, pausing those flights from June 7th through September 8th. During that time, Delta will offer nonstops to LaGuardia. Delta is trimming multiple routes across the country amid fuel cost hikes due to the war in Iran. Let's check out the Cardinals. They played yesterday in Houston, Texas, the home of Mason Wynn. And did Mason Wynn ever come through? We take you to the 10th inning, and the Cardinals are buzzing. They have a runner at second to start the inning. They reach on an error. That's Jordan Walker, and here comes Mason Wynn with the bases loaded.
Bases loaded, 1 out in the 10th. The pitch to Wynn is hit hard. Fair ball inside the third base bag. 1 run scores. Here comes Walker. Urias is rounding third. He's going to score on the triple by Mason Wynn. A 3-run triple in the 10th. 7-4 Cardinals.
Cards win at 7-5. They sweep the series. They have won 5 in a row. Let's head down to the Happy Clubhouse and Cardinals TV with Ollie Marmol.
What a game. That had more twists and turns than a soap opera, didn't it?
No doubt. There's a lot of moving parts to that one. The guys did a nice job. It's a perfect example of you start scoring. You feel good about it, and you keep the pedal down. Unfortunately, we gave it up, but you look at the overall demeanor of the club and kind of the vibe in the dugout, and everyone's under control, calm, and just know that we have to execute to get back on top. And one at bat at a time, we do exactly that, and it was good to see.
14 in a row to start the game, set down by Burrows. He was awfully impressive. Then the switch flips, and it looked like a different offense.
No doubt. He threw a really good game. He was doing a really nice job. Our guys weren't seeing it well, and then just stick to the game plan. And to your point, it flipped.
Libby, 2 in a row, really good.
Yeah, really good. Just all the way through, man. Mixed really well from the very start of that game. Changeup was a good pitch for him. He created some space with the cutter, but was able to get some outs with that changeup. Felt more comfortable with this out and then his last one.
Mason Wynn, we've been waiting for a big breakout series. A little home cooking certainly did him and the team well.
No doubt, man. You go back to yesterday with the homer and driving a couple runs the day before, and then today, it's a big swing. Bases loaded there, clear them. This is a good offense across the way, so be able to get more than one run there is important. So big at bat for sure.
And lastly, another team win. It seems like everybody is contributing, whether they're starting the game or coming off the bench. That's the essence of a 26-man roster.
Yeah, we emptied out today. For me, really nice job of coming off the bench, hitting that double there. We had some really good defense as well. Gorman with a really nice play to end that one inning. But overall, man, different guys are stepping up. But that's when you talk about identity, that's the type of win there. You get punched and then you punch right back. I loved it.
Cardinals 5 in a row. They play tonight at Miami. They'll take on the Marlins at 5:40 on KMOX. Redbird Report sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis. Stanley Cup playoffs, 4 goals for the Buffalo Sabres in the third period. Tage Thompson, the former Blue, had 2 of them, and the Sabres beat Boston 4-3. First playoff game for Buffalo in 15 years. They win game 1. So does Colorado over L.A. 2-1. Montreal beat Tampa Bay 4-3 in overtime. And Vegas topped Utah 4-2. In the NBA, Jason Tatum's back in the playoffs, and did he have a game? 25 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists as Boston hammered Philadelphia 123-91 to get their postseason started. Oklahoma City handed it to Phoenix 119-84. Detroit loses at home to Orlando 112-101, and San Antonio topped Portland 111-98. SLU landed a transfer out of the University of Colorado, Alon McKaylee. He's a 6'9" forward. Watching tape of him this morning, he's got some bounce, rebounding ability. He can throw down a dunk, run in transition. Should be fun for Josh Schertz. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Billikens and the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Saving money is hard, but what's worse is when you save all year, hoping to use that money for a nice vacation, and then your AC unit dies and that money is gone. Now imagine yourself in retirement. You've saved a nice amount, hoping to use it for fun, but every time you take money out of your 401k, you get hammered in taxes. It's a sad fact, but your number one expense in retirement may not be cruises and trips. It could be taxes. At the All Financial Group, we believe in keeping more of your money where it belongs, with you. Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, April 21st and Thursday, April 23rd. You must qualify to attend. Call today to reserve your spot, 636-230-8824, or go online to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may give any tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will? A trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets. Now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Now, the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is going on 621. Let's see if there are any issues on the roadways that may be causing you some problems this morning. Frank Ladd is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Debbie, we are headache-free so far this Monday morning. This update is brought to you by the Missouri History Museum's Route 66 Centennial Festival, April 30th through May 3rd. Headed northbound on Highway 55. A little bit of a hesitation slowdown near Bayless. North of there, not bad. Headed through South City towards downtown St. Louis. Northbound on Highway 270 this morning. Delay-free between 55, 44, and Highway 64. Just those headlights and taillights making your way northbound there. Eastbound on Highway 70, eastbound on Highway 64. No problems to report coming in from St. Charles County to St. Louis County. Don't miss the Route 66 Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Music from Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, some neon displays, kids crafts, and more. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival. Our next traffic update is at 6:30. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
As for our weather, AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says we're going to have ourselves quite the week. We're looking, first of all, at a temperature of 69 degrees today for the high with a mostly sunny sky. Then as we turn to tomorrow, we're going to crank up to 81 degrees after an overnight low of 53. Breezy and warmer tomorrow. Wednesday, rinse and repeat. Warm with sunshine and a few clouds and a high of 81 degrees. And then looking ahead to Thursday, times of sun and clouds. Breezy and remaining warm with a high of 82 degrees. Currently, we're looking at a clear sky. It's 45 degrees downtown at the Arch. Also on Sports on a Sunday morning, had an opportunity to speak with the general manager of the St. Louis Blues just for a few more months. July 1st, he'll hand over the reins to Alex Steen, and that's Doug Armstrong.
Yeah, obviously, when we started the year, we would hope to be playing in the tournament right now when we didn't make it. And it's not that we finished, I think we finished ninth in the conference. We didn't play well in October, November, December, which are really where you set your foundation for the season. And we played good later on in the season, which doesn't hold as much water to me as what happened early in the season. But with that being said, that allowed us to put a lot of younger players on our team, and then put not only on our team in important roles to see how they would perform. And I was excited for seeing Lynn Steen and Stenberg up here. Dvorsky got a bigger role as it went on than the Mayhews and the Snuggeruds, and then the growth of Holloway and Broberg and Neighbors and Hofer. So there was some positives came out of what we would say wasn't a successful season, but there are some silver linings.
You do have some really good young players there. Stenberg, boy, is he a fun player. I think he's a really smart player. And Snuggerud, does every shot come off his stick like lightning? I mean, does he just shoot the puck hard every time he has an opportunity? Yeah. He is special.
Yeah, it's good. He's got a great release, and it has velocity to it. I think he's found a very good centerman, someone like Robert Thomas that can find. I think Robert's one of the elite passers in the game, and Snuggy knows where to go to where the open ice is, and then how to shoot that puck. So there's he looks like he's going to be a very good player, and we did caution him. Alex is cautioning him in their exit meeting of the second year is always harder when you're an important player on a team, because now he's circled. People see the number of goals he's got, how he scored, and now they're going to have to try and defend against him. But I think he has the work ethic, the drive, and the knowledge to overcome that. And Alex and I had a meeting this morning, actually, and the name that comes up to me is Vladdy Tarasenko didn't have the sophomore slump. He came in and he was good and he stayed there, and that's the challenge, is to get someone like Snuggy to understand what the challenge is going to be and take it head on and still produce when your name is circled.
Where do you think things did go south early in the season? Can you pinpoint that, and how do you correct that?
Yeah, I think we just couldn't find our footing. I think it wasn't player, it was organizational. I don't want to say, I guess I will say it's organizational arrogance. I thought we had, like, we were so proud of how we finished last year. And we played very good in the playoffs. Disappointed that we didn't win that first round. And I think we believed we were just going to be able to pick up where we left off. And we weren't. And it's a great lesson for all of us that every year is its own year. There's new players. There's new roles for returning players. There's new roles. And I didn't think we handled that well. And then instead of grasping that and finding a way to work out of it, we were shocked that this was happening to us, and we didn't respond well enough to it until it was too late. So I know we've learned a lesson from that. I know the players have learned a lesson from that, and we have to respect and be ready to play right from day one.
Right away, there were some changes in the coaching staff. Can you discuss that and what the organization looks forward to here in the next few months in replacing them?
Yeah, Claude Julian and Weber's contracts were up, and after consulting with Alex and Monty, there was a belief that some fresh voices in there were going to be good. It allows Monty to create his own staff. He and Alex will work very hard in creating the criteria that they want in those positions, put names to that, and then find out the best possible people that can come in and fill in the canvas. I sort of look at when I look at the head coach, he's the main pitcher on the canvas, the main print, but there's all the other areas have to be filled in, and that's where the assistant coaches come in. And so we're looking, Alex and Monty are looking for people to come in that can fill in some of the areas where Monty needs filled in, and sort of work off of his attitude and how he wants to perform. And
that is Doug Armstrong. The Blues general manager Alex Steen will take over on July 1st, that title, but Army will stay on as president of hockey operations. He joined me on Sports on a Sunday morning. Full conversation right there. We also talk about 3 first-round draft picks coming for St. Louis. I'm Tom Ackerman at 627. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up. Let's talk about Air Medical memberships. In an emergency, you don't choose who transports you. Dispatch sends the closest, most appropriate aircraft. Here's what matters: speed, skill, advanced care. Like critical care crews trained for the toughest moments. Like onboard blood that can make the difference between life and death. Arch Air Medical Service delivers life-saving air medical care across Effingham and surrounding communities. When you call for help, we bring hospital-level care to you. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. And about the cost, the No Surprises Act protects patients with private health insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You're only responsible for your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. Medicare and Medicaid patients have similar protections. No surprise bills, no balance billing, no membership required. Because when it's your life on the line, what matters isn't membership, it's medicine. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps, or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Take advantage of our Mother's Day sale, which starts now. It's our best deal of the year. Save up to 60% off. Visit legacybox.com/radio, and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/radio for 60% off. legacybox.com/radio.
If you need a garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of your choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Beat the spring cleaning rush at Zero Res. This week, buy 1 room of carpet, get 1 cleaned for free. Unlimited rooms and whole system air duct cleaning for just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com. That's ZeroResSTL.com.
It is 6:30, and right now we've got clear skies, 44 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Tom, it continues to be a nice Monday morning. Your run into downtown St. Louis. If you're headed there, westbound on Highway 5564, delay-free. Westbound Highway 70, crossing the usual delay-free as well. North County looks good this morning. Westbound on Highway 270 from the Chain of Rocks Bridge up to the Interbelt. Northbound on Highway 55, just a few more headlights headed into that road construction zone south of the river to Pear through South City. Northbound on Highway 270, not bad this morning between 55 and Highway 44. Our next traffic update at 6:40. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is going to be mostly sunny and the coolest day of this 5-day forecast with a high of 69 degrees. Tomorrow, partly sunny, 81. Same for Wednesday, 81 degrees. We've got clear skies now. It's 44 downtown.
5 people are facing charges after halting for a time. Mayor Kara Spencer's State of the City address Friday night. St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy released a statement that reads, in part, a group of individuals disrupted the event in a collaborative decision with a city official. Warnings were given by SLMPD for those involved to stop or leave the building. When those warnings were not followed, our officers and marshals took action to remove the individuals.
Eventually, Mayor Spencer reminded residents of the state of city services, especially the water department, and of her mandate to get back to basics.
That change has started. Our city is on the path to a turnaround, and we are not nearly as far away as some people might think.
Spencer tried to talk with protesters before the arrests.
We should all be thinking about where we've come from, where our city has been. It is clear to me, and it's clear to everyone in this space, that our city is coming from a place of hurt, that our city is in pain, that our city is in crisis in many ways. Thank you for reminding us that we should be thinking about where we're coming from.
The protesters were upset about tornado recovery. Spencer blames the federal government's relative absence compared to previous storms for slowing the pace.
The National Weather Service confirms 2 EF1 tornadoes touched down in Lincoln and Warren counties Friday night. The Troy, Missouri twister packed wind speeds of 95 miles per hour. While there were no injuries reported, there was significant damage to trees and structures.
In Wentzville, besides a lot of structural damage, there were down power lines along Highway 61. Adrian Bowman tells our partners at Fox 2 he thought it was a tornado.
A lot of lightning, hail, sleet. The rain was just coming down so heavy I couldn't even see the end of my vehicle sitting in the driver's seat.
The Wentzville storms brought 65-mile-per-hour winds. The Pinckney tornado was on the ground for 2 minutes with a path of 1.63 miles.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com. We'll check your Money Minute next.
All Access with Ollie Marmol on the Gas House Gang.
You're constantly trying to figure out how to get meaningful information through to the player in a way where they can put it into action. If they can shoot holes in your game or in your information or your delivery, you're done. If you come into those and you're 80% prepared and they can shoot holes in your messaging or in your points that you're trying to make, you lose credibility real quick, and you're not gaining that back anytime soon.
Ollie Marmol, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
April is the perfect time to reset your home for the long run, and Universal Windows Direct makes that decision easy. Right now, when you buy 2 windows, get 2 for free, and there's no limit. Plus, you'll get 24 months with no payments and no interest, giving you a full 2 years to enjoy the comfort before you pay a dime, and a $500 bonus off your home improvement project. Universal Windows Direct has been great to me. They've been great to all of my listeners. They are absolutely the real deal. 314-334-2522 or universalwindowsdirect.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My best advice to you when hiring a lawyer for your injury case is simple. If you know court personnel, ask them who they'd hire. They know. If you know an insurance adjuster, ask them. They know. And then ask them about us. Ask them about Morgan & Morgan. They know. I look forward to talking to you soon. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm for the people.
Injured? Dial pound law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
6:35. This is Total Information AM. Time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute.
Wall Street's got a busy week ahead with traders watching for March retail sales. They're out on Tuesday and could show an increase of 1.3% from the month prior. We'll also get a look at pending home sales and earnings from United Airlines. Tesla, IBM, and Boeing report on Wednesday. Thursday is the weekly report on initial jobless claims, and we'll get a look at consumer sentiment on Friday. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer's also headed south of the border this week as talks continue on the North American Trade Pact. Topics on the agenda include steel, aluminum, autos, agriculture, and reducing imports from other countries. And about a year after DOGE took a chainsaw approach to the federal government, it looks like the feds are hiring again. Job announcements on the government's main hiring portal are up 23% from February to March, and they're actively recruiting more tech staff, attorneys, and project managers. Federal employment is now at the lowest level it's been since 2009. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
2026, I've been hearing from customers and friends that their utility bills went up quite a bit for their electric bill. That being said, and you're looking at buying a new air conditioner, or you're thinking, hey, I guess let's just get an air conditioner so it helps with the electric bills. If you have an old system, it definitely can help you. But watch your thinking. Just because you are told this is a so-called high-efficient air conditioner, it's not going to save you nowhere near what you think it's going to save you. Just replacing your old equipment is the biggest thing, and make your house efficient. An air conditioner is not going to make your house efficient. That being said, it's a great time to purchase an air conditioner if you get the correct one. Don't overspend. Don't believe the hype. In other words, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Call me, Bart Inman, at 314, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, the easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. God bless.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It's 6:39. A group of more than 30 mourners gathered in a parking lot in Shreveport, Louisiana to honor the lives of 8 children who were fatally shot in a mass shooting on Sunday. A Louisiana father fatally shot the children, including 7 of his own, during an early morning attack on his family Sunday that stretched across 2 houses in the neighborhood. 2 women, including the gunman's wife, who was the mother of their children, were also shot and critically injured. The gunman, identified as 31-year-old Shamar Elkins, died after a police pursuit that ended with officers firing on him.
It is 6:40, and we have more news to come, but let's get you updated right now on traffic and weather, and we start with Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Debbie, we have a new crash reported westbound Highway 70 just east of 370. Not seeing any lane blockage there. That's good news. They are slowing northbound on Highway 55 now from about Bayless up through the road construction zone to north of Loughborough. North of there into downtown St. Louis, not seeing any issues on northbound 55. Northbound on Highway 270, delay-free now between 55-44. A little heavier volume now north of Manchester Road near that Clayton Road overpass northbound on 270, headed up towards Highway 64. Coming in from St. Charles County, not seeing any issues now eastbound on Highway 70 between 370 and the Blanchette Bridge. I'm Frank Ladd with traffic. Our next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Gravois Bluffs. Come visit us now. Ready to refresh your space with furniture that's built to last? The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. Experience Haverty's regret-free guarantee for yourself and shop the latest in living rooms, bedrooms, and more. Visit Haverty's now in Gravois Bluffs.
All right, AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, lay it on us. A fantastic week here in St. Louis.
Yeah, next 4 days I think are going to be fantastic indeed with sunshine time. We're headed to 69 today, and that's the coolest day of the week. Tonight, fair skies, 53 for low. A mix of sun and clouds tomorrow, weighted more toward the sunshine, and it gets breezy and warmer with a high of 81. We're going to keep that theme on Wednesday with sunshine for the most part, the high 81. Thursday, partly sunny, breezy, and warm, high 82. If there's any trouble, it's going to be reserved for Friday. Lots of clouds, a couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm with a high in the lower 70s. Right now, though, mainly clear. 42 at St. Peter's, 46 from Florissant, mostly sunny, and 48 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The news continues at 6:42. A new bill cutting red tape and expanding where food trucks can operate in St. Louis City was set to receive final passage today. It's been delayed by the Cardinals.
KMOX has obtained an email the Cardinals sent to members of the Board of Aldermen Tuesday asking they vote against the bill or encourage its sponsor, Alderman Rasheen Aldridge, to withdraw it ahead of the final day of the legislative session on Monday. They are concerned the bill would override existing legislation which creates a quote-unquote clean zone around Busch Stadium and Ballpark Village and gives them a say over which vendors can operate. Alderman Aldridge.
They have a legislation that allows them to kind of have input over the operations of food truck and sidewalk vendors in their area, and that was taken out.
Aldridge did tell KMOX he will withdraw his bill and reintroduce it next session with language that reaffirms the Cardinals' clean zone. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
In a statement to KMOX, Cardinals Senior Vice President Mike Whittle says it has been tremendous working with Alderman Aldridge and appreciates him fixing the mistake of eliminating the clean zone. Whittle adds he looks forward to more fruitful conversations when the bill is reintroduced next session.
It's the day of the 130th Boston Marathon. Thousands of street performers are pounding the concrete this morning.
Mostly looking forward to is the crowds. They give you the energies to get you through, and then the nerves just fade away.
Runners in the Boston Marathon say the key to a striding success is to keep calm, make friends on the bus ride to the start line, and eat a balanced breakfast.
For me, it's just about getting out there, having fun. It's just another long run day.
Months of training led up to this for more than 30,000 runners, whether they qualified or fundraised to get here.
And then when I'm running, I actually just think about courage, courage, courage.
Jay Willett for CBS News, Boston.
A new development in the medical field might prevent teen athletes from permanent injuries.
Experts with Missouri Healthcare say teen athletes are experiencing unusually high rates of back pain, which are often due to small spinal stress fractures.
These stress fractures may sound like not a common thing or something that doesn't happen that often. And indeed, in the general population, it's only about 6% of people that have this condition. But when you look at young athletes, it can approach almost 50%.
MU radiologist Dr. Lauren Pringle tells KMOX the fractures are often too small for doctors to spot on CT scans. However, new MRI technology is changing that.
But the new technology we now have lets us see the bones in the low back where these stress fractures live with a lot better detail.
Pringle says diagnosis of the fractures is crucial for young athletes, since it's one of the rare sports injuries where treatment can prevent permanent disabilities. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
It's time to play a little Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, and making memories. I'll tell you who's not. $370 million payroll. New York Mets have lost 11 in a row. 11 in a row. They are 7-15. They fell yesterday to the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs came back on them and won in 10 innings, 2-1. Elsewhere in the NL Central, the Brewers are 12-9, and they are tied with the Cubs for last place. The Pirates are 13-9. The leader in the division, the Reds, are 14-8. All teams in the division are either 3 games over 500 or better. You know who's 5 games over 500? The St. Louis Cardinals, and they can jump on you quickly. In the 5th inning, the Cardinals are down 1-0, but here they come, starting with the hometown kid back to Houston, Mason Wynn.
Mike Burrows brings in the next one. Mason Wynn gets a base hit to left field. He hit that in between Correa and Paredes through the hole at shortstop. The Cardinals get their first base runner, their first hit with 2 outs in the 5th inning.
John Rooney with the call on KMOX. We're in the 5th. The Cardinals have some work to do, but they have a runner on with 2 outs. Nathan Church walks. Here comes Pedro Pajes.
Burrows with the pitch. Pajes hits a slow roller to third. Paredes comes on, bare hands, throws. He won't get him. The ball gets away at first, but stays in front of the first baseman Walker. The bases are loaded for Victor Scott II.
Uh-oh, big mistake. You've opened the door to this Cardinals lineup. Victor Scott II.
Burrows with the sign from the stretch. The runners lead all the way around. There they go. The pitch is inside. Ball 4, and we're tied at 1. 4 consecutive base runners after 14 consecutive Cardinal batters were retired.
Next batter, J.J. Weatherholt.
The base is full. Burrows kicks and deals. A swing, and there's a hit to right field, giving the Cardinals the lead. A second runner is being waved around. The throw is late at the plate. Church and Pajes score. Victor Scott II is on third on the 2 RBI single by J.J. Weatherholt. The Cardinals lead 3-1.
The Astros yank their pitcher, Mike Burrows, and they bring in Steven Okert. Doesn't matter, Ivan Herrera.
The 8th batter of the inning. Herrera swings and lines it, base hit to left field, adding to the lead, scoring Scott. Weatherholt stops at second. A 4-run 5th inning after 2 outs.
Yordan Alvarez hit a home run in the 8th inning to cut the lead to 4-2. And then Isaac Paredes scores 2 with a hit to right to tie the game at 4, and the wind is out of the Cardinals' sails, right? No. We go to the 10th inning. The Cardinals have a runner at second base. That's Ivan Herrera. With 1 out, Jordan Walker reaches on an error. Here we go again. You're opening the door to the Cardinals, and you're inviting trouble. Ramon Arias is hit by a pitch. Bases loaded, Mason Wynn.
Bases loaded, 1 out in the 10th. The pitch to Wynn is hit hard. Fair ball inside the third base bag. 1 run scores. Here comes Walker. Arias is rounding third. He's going to score on the triple by Mason Wynn. A 3-run triple in the 10th. 7-4 Cardinals.
Cardinals win at 7-5. They've won 5 in a row. They're a half game out of first. They sweep the Astros, and they visit the Marlins tonight at 5:40 on KMOX. We'll go through the NHL and NBA scores coming up at 7:15. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. They really have a great thing going. St. Louis Composting. Did you know that they have 9 locations in the St. Louis area? 9. Did you also know that I have not visited one of them? All I did was go to stlcompost.com, and I had the mulch delivered to me. We had it sent to us, and it is a great time of year to get mulch, compost, or soil delivered to your home. Now, if you want to back up your truck or trailer, they will load you up at one of their 9 locations, St. Louis Composting, all over the area. But if you have it delivered, it's very easy. You can just go to stlcompost.com. At the top of the page, you'll see the cubic yard calculator. I'm talking about making it easy. You just put in the dimensions of the area you want the mulch, and they'll tell you how many cubic yards you need. You order online, they'll bring it right to you. St. Louis Composting, not only that, but they have many different kinds of mulch. I had no idea that they have a menu of what look like a dozen different kinds of mulch that you can buy from them. STLcompost.com.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenager's gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
Now the news. At 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:51, time for a look at traffic and weather. Here is Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Debbie, we're slowing approaching the road construction northbound on Highway 55. Those slowdowns start at about Bayless, extend up to about Loughborough. North of there, not bad through downtown St. Louis. Southbound on 170, a little heavier now, approaching Highway 64. That left lane from the Galleria Parkway starts to stack up. Northbound on Highway 270, you've got pockets of volume now approaching Manchester Road from Doherty Ferry. Then you're back on the brakes again between Clayton Road and Highway 64. In from St. Charles County, delay-free eastbound on Highway 64 now, starting at Lake St. Louis, headed towards the Boone Bridge. And we're sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies. Our next update at 6:58, Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
Great weather this week. A high of 69 today with a mostly sunny sky. Partly cloudy, low 53 tonight. Tomorrow, partly sunny, breezy, and warmer. A high of 81. Wednesday, warm with sunshine, high 81. Thursday, breezy and warm, a high of 82. Currently, we have a clear sky in downtown St. Louis. It's 44 degrees.
6:52 and time for us to check in with our CBS News business analyst, Jill Schlesinger. And it's hard for most of us to figure out what's going on, Jill, with, most people complaining that it's hard to afford anything. And we have this war and the gas prices are going up and there's all this uncertainty. And yet, look at the stock market.
I know. It is very crazy making. I mean, it's sort of like a delightful crazy making in some ways, that if you're a long-term retirement investor, you sort of like, wow, that feels pretty good to look at the 401k this morning. However, I do think there's a couple of forces here that are important to underscore. And that is, number one, that, there are a lot of investors out there who believe that the conversations that are going on in the Middle East, that at least at a high level, that there is movement towards a negotiated peace settlement, at least just like the tensions are coming down. Now, this weekend notwithstanding, there are going to be flare-ups, but at least there's talking, and there was not talking 5 weeks ago, right? So that's one good thing. The second thing that appears to be happening among a lot of the larger investors is that they're saying, okay, well, this has been bad, and nobody likes high gas prices, but the evidence is that although consumers say they feel rotten, they continue to spend. And that's kind of fascinating to me. Like last week, we got earnings coming out of big banks like Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase. They're big issuers of credit cards. So they see the spending that's going on. And they're saying there's no doubt that high gas prices hit lower income earning Americans. But the middle, the upper middle, the upper, those folks continue to spend, and that is helping to power the economy forward. So we might see some growth shaved off of the annual rate we thought we were going to get at the beginning of the year before the war. But so far, it looks like things are still growing, and companies are still investing a lot in technology and AI. So I think it's a strange period to feel as a consumer like you're really bummed out and you feel bad, and yet the economy can still grow.
President Trump's nominee to succeed Jerome Powell is Kevin Warsh as Federal Reserve Chair. What steps need to be taken now to be confirmed?
Well, he will begin the interviewing process tomorrow before the Senate Banking Committee. And there he has to actually deal with one major block, and that is Senator Tom Tillis, a Republican, has said that he is not going to vote to confirm Warsh until the Department of Justice drops its investigation of the current chair, Jerome Powell, over Powell's handling of the Federal Reserve building renovation project. We talked about that a few months ago, and it did look like the Department of Justice was going to kind of back off from that. But then last week, things kind of amped up a little bit again because U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro sent a couple of her deputy prosecutors to the Fed for like a knock-knock, hey, what can we see your stuff? And by the way, they were turned away and said, talk to the legal team. So here's the thing. Right now, Tom Tillis, he is the guy. And if we don't see Warsh get out of committee, that means that it is unlikely that we are going to have a vote before May 15th. That is the deadline. That's when Jerome Powell's term is concluding. If that is the case, if Warsh is stuck in committee and there's no full Senate vote, and there's Powell said that he would continue in the role as Fed chair temporarily. And the president then said, if that's the case, I'll fire Powell. So meanwhile, a lot of words. I think we probably will get Warsh confirmed eventually, just maybe not by that May 15th deadline.
Jill Schlesinger, you can always get more at jillonmoney.com. Have a great week.
Take care.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Big happy birthday to one of the greats in the game, Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly from Evansville, Indiana. He is 65 today.
The birthday shout-out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family-owned and top-rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday to, I think this may be a typo, I'm just going with Cheryl Phillips. Cheryl Phillips from your St. Louis family. Tony Antonov Wyrostek turns 64 today. Happy birthday wishes to Lou Welsh of O'Fallon, Illinois. Also to Mac Bradley, Phyllis Rollman, Bert Atkins, Eliana Hentoff-Killian, Jordan Carney, Richard Buckley. Happy birthday.
This is the best birthday ever.
Spring into green with Seidenstricker Nobe Partners. For a limited time, we have 0% financing for 84 months on John Deere 1, 2, and 3E Series compact tractor packages with prices as low as $225 a month. Plus, we'll deliver it for free. Visit assenpartners.com or one of our Missouri and Illinois John Deere locations. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 4/30/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
The summer heat and humidity will be here soon. Is your air conditioner ready? This is Corey with Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If your cooling system hasn't been checked to be ready for the warm weather, call Air Comfort Service. AC checks keep your equipment operating at maximum efficiency, prevent repairs, and extend the life of your equipment. For every AC clean and check booked in April, we'll donate a bag of pet food to Open Door Animal Sanctuary in House Springs. Stay in your comfort zone with a cooling system check from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. Ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
News, talk, Cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's 7 o'clock in mid-America.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by DEA Take Back Day.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. U.S. Marines seized an Iranian cargo ship as another round of peace talks is slated to get underway in Pakistan. Correspondent Charlie Daggett reports from Tel Aviv.
U.S. officials said the Tosca, headed toward Iran, failed to comply with orders despite 6 hours of warnings. Iran has threatened to retaliate, the most serious threat yet to the fragile ceasefire that expires this week.
Iranian officials described the capture of that merchant vessel as a hijacking and an act of piracy. It's not clear what the ship was carrying. That new round of peace negotiations hangs in the balance. Correspondent Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill.
Sources tell CBS News Vice President J.D. Vance is expected to lead the delegation President Trump is dispatching to new talks in Pakistan. But so far, Iran says it isn't ready to commit.
Oil prices are up about $6 a barrel. Average gas prices in the U.S. at $4.04 a gallon. That's up almost $1 since last July. The community of Shreveport, Louisiana, is stunned by a mass shooting that took the lives of 8 children, 7 of them brothers and sisters. The suspect, their father. CBS's Jason Allen is in Shreveport.
Police say he pursued the children, even as some of them tried to escape.
Were they crawling out of windows to get onto a roof?
One of the children was actually located deceased on the roof. So we are working to determine. We do believe that he shot the child while the child was on the roof trying to get away.
Police say the shooter then stole a vehicle from a driver at gunpoint and led officers on a multi-parish chase. When he stopped in a neighborhood and got out with a gun, officers shot and killed him.
The youngest child was 3 years old, oldest 11. Japanese officials are warning of an increased risk of major earthquakes after a powerful jolt this morning.
I'm Vicky Barker at the Foreign Desk in London. An earthquake off Japan's northeastern coast triggered a small tsunami wave, about 16 inches above normal. But now officials say a second, bigger tsunami may be on its way after another quake registering 7.5.
Tens of thousands of runners are set to take their marks in the Boston Marathon next hour.
There's nothing like Boston. It's just incredible.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling prepared.
I had such a great time here that right away I signed up again. I'll probably be back here again next year.
The race begins in Hopkinton before it winds its way through Natick, Wellesley, and other cities and towns before making its way to Boston's Back Bay. Dow futures are down 238. This is CBS News.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, April 25th. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah, and now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news! Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613, exclusions apply.
It is 7:04. We've got sunshine, 44 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. There are still a lot of unanswered questions about a mass shooting in Centralia, Illinois last night. The shooting happened around 5 p.m. near the 900 block of East Kell Street in Centralia. That's according to local Centralia outlet WFCN. Multiple law enforcement agencies responded to the scene, and multiple victims were hospitalized, but the number of victims has not been released.
A triple shooting at a food truck in Ferguson leaves one person dead. This happened just before 6:30 Sunday night in the 10,900 block of New Halls Ferry. Ferguson police responding to the call found 3 victims suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. The adult male victim died at the hospital. 2 adult female victims transported to hospitals for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries.
An early investigation indicates a suspect in a vehicle fled after open firing into a crowd near a food truck in the parking lot. St. Louis County Police have been called to take over the investigation. No suspects are in custody at this time.
St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer's first State of the City address led to 5 people being arrested.
Spencer's speech was delayed by protesters. St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says while police respect the right to peacefully protest, several people were disruptive and refused to leave City Hall when ordered by SLMPD and city marshals. At one point, the bulk of the audience started cheering in an unsuccessful attempt to drown out the demonstrators.
Good evening, St. Louis.
Finally, the mayor tried to address the protesters directly.
Thank you for reminding us that we should be thinking about where we're coming from.
McCoy says officers and marshals took action to remove the demonstrators. 5 people were taken into custody and are facing charges including resisting arrest, interfering with police, and peace disturbance. Spencer was able to begin her prepared remarks. About 20 minutes later, she touched on topics from improving city services to the prolonged tornado response. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
The Missouri House has passed a $50.4 billion operational budget that includes a reallocation of $1 billion in support of colleges and universities. However, schools like Harris Stowe are concerned that reallocation is based on student enrollment.
Last Tuesday, the Missouri Senate Appropriations Committee proposed a budget that maintains funding at last year's level. Harris Stowe President Dr. LaTanya Collins-Smith tells KMOX this has a direct effect on student recruitment.
Prospective students, they would probably be reluctant to come to Harris Stowe because they don't know if the future of the institution is sustainable.
The budget process is ongoing, so the Senate has to pass its version before it returns it to the Missouri House.
From the KMOX Business Desk, trading spaces in the Delmar Makers District. Ben Paremba is moving his brunch restaurant, Florentin, down the street to the space formerly occupied by Steve's Hot Dogs. That's Steve's location, along with the fountain on Delmar, closed earlier this year. The once up-and-coming stretch was hit hard by last year's tornado.
Sunday was the last day of service in the current Florentin location. It'll reopen in its new spot May 10th. Paremba tells the Business Journal this is part of a broader intentional effort to build greater density and cohesion within the Delmar Maker District. He also says he plans to open another new concept in one of the vacant spaces in June.
It's 7:08, traffic and weather next.
Sunday, April 26th is packed with fun. When the Cardinals welcome the Seattle Mariners, you can score a classic chain-stitch Cardinals hat presented by Coca-Cola. Plus, kids 12 and under receive a Fredbird Hall of Fame ring presented by the Pasta House Company. And get the chance to run the bases after the game. Giveaways, post-game fun, and Cardinals baseball all in one big Sunday showdown. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Matthew Liberatore. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
Every Sunday home game is a Kids Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fredbird and games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
Spring is here. Hi, this is Tim Gamma. And I'm Tom Gamma. When it comes to tree care, call the name you can trust. Gamma Tree Experts, founded by our dad, Frank Gamma, in 1954.
Frank will be 91 this year, and the third generation of Gammas have joined the business.
Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Now in our 72nd year.
For pruning, fertilization, and removal, call Gamma Tree Experts today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
Growing a brand is hard, but reaching the right customers shouldn't be. Meet Outcomes from Viant. We've built an intelligent platform that handles the complexity of digital advertising for you. Powered by advanced AI, we help your brand show up in the right places at the right time and ensure that every dollar you spend leads to a real business result. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10. If you're heading out the door, you will need the sunglasses this morning. And this report from Frank Ladd and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Debbie, that sunshine is out there, but we're not seeing too many delays from it. So that's the good news. Coming in from St. Charles County, eastbound Highway 70, no problems to report. Headed towards the Blanchette Bridge, similar story eastbound on Highway 64 towards the Boone Bridge. We've got a couple of hesitation slowdowns just off the pace. Northbound on Highway 270 now approaching Clayton Road overpass up through about Highway 64. You bunch up in that left lane. Southbound on Highway 170 approaching Highway 64. And you are a little heavy into the work zone. Northbound on Highway 55 starting at Bayless. Those delays extend up to about Loughborough. Our next traffic update at 7:20. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, mostly sunny today, high 69, then clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 53. Sunshine and some clouds tomorrow, becoming breezy and noticeably warmer with a high of 81. A warm day Wednesday with sunshine and a few clouds, high again 81. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Still rather cool out there. 44 in Florissant, 43 in St. Peter's. A sunny sky, 44 degrees downtown at the Arch.
I think it's really putting St. Louis back on the map.
Saturday's flight marking the inaugural takeoff of British Airways nonstop flights from St. Louis to London. British Airways Chief Planning Officer Neil Chernoff says this marks the 27th of destinations in the United States. He says conversation with Lambert has been happening for quite some time.
We think it's just a really great opportunity with our 4 weekly flights to be able to connect St. Louis, not just to the United Kingdom, but to all the destinations we serve across Europe, Africa, and South Asia.
I know you've been working on it for a while, and what's the feedback like?
Yeah, no, well, first of all, we've had great feedback from the local community, also businesses, corporates that this flight was very important to. And so the response has been very, very positive. We continue to sort of watch the flights and how they're building. We're really proud that the flight going out tonight is full. And so, yeah, the response has been great. A lot of people up until now, if they were flying St. Louis to London, had to connect somewhere else in the United States. And passengers and business people have just been delighted that they can now get there nonstop.
Talk about the airline industry itself and how it's kind of changed over the years. Lambert used to be quite an international destination, but that's waned over the years after TWA went away.
Yeah, I mean, I think in that time frame, right, lots of people who wanted to travel to certain places have had to connect. It's always been, if you will, an important airport for us. It was just the way to serve it was with our One World and joint business partner, American. And so, oftentimes people would have to connect over Philadelphia or over Chicago. But I think as St. Louis has grown and I think as the communities come together to try to rebuild that international service, they've been working with us and talking to us for many years now. We've probably over the past 4 or 5 years met with them once a year. And really probably two things came together. Number one was, us kind of having the capacity and the aircraft available to fly, and also just all the support that we've seen from the local community.
After less than a year in operation, Delta says it will suspend nonstop service between St. Louis and New York's JFK Airport. They're calling it a temporary seasonal adjustment, pausing those flights from June 7th through September 8th. During that time, Delta will offer nonstops to LaGuardia. Delta is trimming multiple routes across the country amid fuel cost hikes due to the war in Iran.
AP Sports, I'm Gethin Coolbaugh. Oklahoma City opened its postseason NBA title defense with a 119-84 Game 1 rout of Phoenix. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 25 points and was named one of 3 NBA MVP finalists.
Nothing different than who we've been the past couple seasons.
He's joined by Denver's Nikola Jokic and San Antonio's Victor Wembanyama, whose 35 points in his postseason debut paced the Spurs' 111-98 win over Portland. In the East, 8-seeded Orlando shocked top-seeded Detroit 112-101. Stanley Cup playoffs, Juraj Slafkovsky's hat trick helped Montreal top Tampa Bay 4-3 in overtime of Game 1. Buffalo rallied with 4 third-period goals to down Boston 4-3. Matt Fitzpatrick beat Scotty Scheffler in an RBC Heritage playoff, and Tyler Reddick won his 5th NASCAR race of the season in OT at Kansas. Gethin Coolbaugh, AP Sports.
Gethin, let's take you to that building in Buffalo. I mean, that place was trembling. First playoff game for the Sabres in 15 years. Here's the sound of that game-breaking goal from Sportsnet.
McLeod carries up ice and tosses in. Stick breaks on the back end for Hampus Lindholm. He gets a handoff. Here's a pass, a shot, score! Martin Samuelsson! Absolute madness!
I mean, you wouldn't believe the hugging, the screaming, the cheering. Buffalo is on fire after getting a victory in the playoffs, and it gives you chills to see it. It's reminiscent, the story of perhaps they can do what the Blues did in 2019 and deliver that coveted Stanley Cup to the fans of Buffalo. They have been suffering for a while, the Bills, the Sabres, and on it goes. Meanwhile, here in St. Louis, it has been 15 years since the Cardinals won the World Series, 2011. This team was not expected to do much of anything, but here they are, and they are a half game out of first place in the National League Central. They've won 5 in a row. They're on their way to Miami, and John Rooney and Ricky Horton, they have themselves a pretty interesting squad, a team that just completed a sweep down in Texas.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. Mason Wynn got a 4-run rally started in the 5th inning, and then he was able to drive in 3 in the 10th inning to help the Cardinals beat the Houston Astros 7-5 and sweep the 3-game series with a great game yesterday.
Terrific game yesterday as Mason Wynn came through. So did Matthew Liberatore with the start. He went 6 solid innings, didn't get the win, but put the Cardinals in a position to win, and the Cardinals were able to get that big 3-run double in the 10th inning and then close it out. Gordon Graceffo picked up his 2nd big league save.
Mike Burrows, their starting pitcher, retired the first 14 batters, striking out 7, but once Wynn got a base hit to break up the no-no, he fell apart.
Yeah, he was not as good out of the stretch as he was out of the windup.
The Cardinals move on to Miami, playing the Marlins tonight in South Florida on the air at 4:45. Michael McGreevy goes for his 2nd win. Ricky will have the lineups at 5:30 Central.
Let's hear that call of the Wynn bases clearing double. It's the cut of the game, sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net.
Bases loaded, 1 out in the 10th. The pitch to Wynn is hit hard. Fair ball inside the third base bag. 1 run scores. Here comes Walker. Urias is rounding third. He's going to score on the triple by Mason Wynn. A 3-run triple in the 10th. 7-4 Cardinals.
What an incredible moment for the hometown kid, Mason Wynn, with Danny Wexelman, Cardinals TV.
I just try to, just trust the preparation. Just trust in what we're doing in the cages with the hitting staff, and I just wanted to go out there, try to do a job. Tried to hit the ball in the air, but, sometimes it pays to be lucky, so that was a good one.
Cardinals are rolling right now. They take on the Marlins tonight at 5:40. I'm Tom Ackerman. On the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps, or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally
digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Take advantage of our Mother's Day sale, which starts now. It's our best deal of the year. Save up to 60% off. Visit legacybox.com/radio and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/radio for 60% off. legacybox.com/radio.
If you are a small business owner, you run a nonprofit, or you're thinking about opening a business or a nonprofit, you definitely want to check out the Small Business and Nonprofit series that's going on this next weekend at the Booter branch of St. Louis Public Library. It's free, and there are so many different topics that will be helpful in running your business. Just one of the many ways that St. Louis Public Library is such a benefit. They also are still taking registrations for the award-winning Summer at SLPL camps. Those do fill up fast, so please look into that right away. And they already have up Across the Animal Kingdom, their summer series. So just a number of ways for you to keep the kids active and their brains working during the summer. There's always events going on, too. So it is an excellent way to stay informed, stay entertained, and save money, because you don't have to get expensive subscriptions to all these different services for things that you can get for free at St. Louis Public Library, slpl.org. St. Louis Public Library, St. Louis's original search engine.
Considering buying or selling a home? When it comes to the Gelman team with eXp Realty, numbers don't lie. Over 1,500 Google and Zillow 5-star reviews, nearly 6,000 homes, and $2.5 billion in real estate sold. Call 314-336-1991, thegelmanteam.com.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Back to Frank Ladd in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we just heard a call for a crash eastbound on Highway 255 on the JB Bridge. They've trained the camera on that section of road and not seeing any delays, not seeing any folks dodging out of a lane trying to get out of the way of an accident there. So they may have moved it quickly off to the shoulder and out of the way. So pay attention, though, if you're headed eastbound on Highway 255 coming off the JB Bridge. We do have pockets of volume northbound on Highway 55 this morning. Those start at Bayless through the road construction zone. You're on the brakes as well, northbound on Highway 270 now between Tesson Ferry and Gravois. Back on the brakes again south of Manchester Road, headed up to Highway 64 on northbound 270. East and westbound on Highway 64, a little bit of volume through the central corridor there between 170 and Forest Park. And if you're making your way in from St. Charles County, we are delay-free eastbound on Highway 70, eastbound on Highway 64 into St. Louis County. Our next traffic update at 7:30. Frank Ladd in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a mostly sunny day with a high of 69 degrees. That's the coolest day of this 5-day forecast. Tomorrow and Wednesday will be at 81 degrees, 82 on Thursday. Sun all of those days, but maybe a shower or thunderstorm by Friday. It's sunny now and 44 degrees.
The news continues at 7:22. Preliminary survey results from the National Weather Service show 2 brief EF1 tornadoes touched down south of Troy, Missouri and in Pinckney, Missouri on Friday night. Lincoln County Emergency Manager Quentin Laws.
Light damage except for this area right behind us here. The Weather Service, warned us that there's tornado. We had a storm spotter coming up the highway. He alerted our 911 that it was crossing the highway and was on the ground here.
Laws tells our news partners at Fox 2 there was light damage on the east and west sides of Lincoln County. The Troy tornado had a path of 3.72 miles and was on the ground for 5 minutes. The Pinckney tornado was on the ground for 2 minutes with a path length of 1.63 miles.
Charges and new details about one of the Easter weekend shootings in Soulard.
2 days after the arrest of 24-year-old Jabril Oliveria, police announcing first-degree murder and armed criminal action charges. Oliveria is charged for his alleged participation in a shooting on April 3rd that killed 21-year-old Lamar Box of East St. Louis and injured 2 other adult men. Officials now believe the shooting started with a gunfight inside of the gas station before it moved to the parking lot. Box was found in his car 3 blocks south of the shooting location when he crashed. Officials say he had gunshot wounds and was taken to a local hospital for treatment. He died later that day. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
Plans for a gospel museum in an old Baptist church in the Central West End's Holy Corners went from bad to worse. First, a fire severely damaged the building in 2021. Now the woman who pitched the project, 59-year-old Monica Butler, is charged with fraud.
Butler and 5 others were indicted by the U.S. Attorney's Office of scheming to fraudulently obtain $8 million in pandemic relief loans. Butler ran the nonprofit Gospel Museum Hall of Fame, Inc., which planned a $22 million gospel music museum. According to the indictment, she used funds to help fund the stalled project. Another person charged is 47-year-old Dana Kelly, former owner of the now-closed Rain nightclub on Washington Avenue.
After pressure from the Cardinals, Alderman Rasheed Aldridge withdrew his bill, cutting red tape and expanding where food trucks can operate in the city. This offers an opportunity for Soulard business owners to push for changes after KMOX spoke to a half dozen that were against the bill.
John Viloff, operating partner at Big Daddy's, tells KMOX beyond the negative impact a food truck would have to his business, he believes it wouldn't be good for their residents.
A lot of them don't have quiet generators. They got music playing. They got bright lights. They leave trash behind. They leave the gray sludge, grease stuff, under their trucks.
Viloff says Soulard doesn't need food trucks like other neighborhoods do, with dozens of businesses in a quarter-mile area, excluding the brewery. Asked about their concerns, Alderman Aldridge promised to work with them.
Alderwoman Jamie Cox-Antwi and I will be in conversations with Soulard to figure out what works so that we can, make sure that Soulard is part of, I think, a business that is continuing to grow.
KMOX has obtained an email the Cardinals sent to members of the Board of Aldermen Tuesday asking they vote against the bill or encourage its sponsor, Alderman Rasheed Aldridge, to withdraw it ahead of the final day of the legislative session on Monday. They are concerned the bill would override existing legislation which creates a quote-unquote clean zone around Busch Stadium and Ballpark Village and gives them a say over which vendors can operate. Alderman Aldridge.
They have a legislation that allows them to kind of have input over the operations of food truck and sidewalk vendors in their area, and that was taken out.
Aldridge did tell KMOX he will withdraw his bill and reintroduce it next session with language that reaffirms the Cardinals' clean zone. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
In a statement to KMOX, Cardinals Senior Vice President Mike Whittle says it has been tremendous working with Alderman Aldridge and fixing the mistake of eliminating the clean zone. He adds he looks forward to more fruitful conversations when the bill is reintroduced next session.
Some physicians reporting an increase in lower back pain for teenage athletes, but what can they do about it?
He says the new technology gives physicians a closer and clearer look at the small fractures, which can prevent permanent disabilities if they're not treated.
If you're a parent and you wonder, is this something that my child could have? This is something that if you would have a gymnast or a cheerleader or a volleyball player, an athlete that does lots of arching or extending their back, and if they have pain with arching their back, that's the type of thing.
Jay Daubry, KMOX News.
It's 7:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
The Biz Dash 5K, presented by Worldwide Technology, is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, this high-energy corporate race is St. Louis's healthiest happy hour, combining fitness, fun, and unbeatable team bonding for companies of every size. Runners and walkers of all levels are welcome. It all comes together at Energizer Park Thursday, May 7th in downtown St. Louis, an office party like no other. Create your company team today at stlbizdash.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs, so please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast.
Pump up the volume.
When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
How do airplanes fly? What's in this box? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Learn how to store your gun securely and make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:30. This is Total Information AM, and we've got sunshine, 44 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Boy, this morning's flying. Let's go to Frank Ladd. How are things looking out there over at Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center?
Well, we're not totally flying out there on the traffic scene, but we do have some great runs headed towards downtown St. Louis. Not seeing any issues eastbound Highway 70 so far this morning, headed towards downtown from Lambert Field, northbound on Highway 270. Just a little bit of volume from the drivers ramping on from northbound Highway 55 north of there, a little off the pace passing Gravois. Good run up to Big Bend through Doherty Ferry, Manchester Road. Northbound on Highway 55, you do have those delays into the work zone. Those start at Bayless. East and westbound on Highway 64 through the Central Corridor. Got a little bit of volume now between McKnight and about Big Bend. Westbound Highway 64, you're on the brakes just passing Forest Park. Eastbound 70, eastbound Highway 64, delay-free coming in from St. Charles County to St. Louis County. Our next traffic update at 7:40. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be pretty sunny for the next 4 days until Friday, when we could see a couple showers and a thunderstorm. In the meantime, 69 today with plenty of sunshine, 81 tomorrow and Wednesday. It is 44 degrees out there right now.
It's 7:32. Average gas prices in St. Louis fell amongst almost 6 cents per gallon in the last week. That's according to Gas Buddy, who reports gas prices are still 21 cents higher than they were in the region a year ago today. Nationally, the average price of gas fell a little over 9 cents per gallon, and diesel experienced an almost 12-cent decrease in the past week.
However, Gas Buddy's head of petroleum analysis, Patrick DeHaan, says that the price relief may not last long. Oil prices, he says, surged Sunday night after Iran reclosed the Strait of Hormuz. He warns if the strait doesn't reopen soon, prices likely will rise again in the days ahead.
5 people are facing charges after halting for a time. Mayor Kara Spencer's State of the City address Friday night. St. Louis police spokesman Mitch McCoy released a statement that reads, in part, a group of individuals disrupted the event in a collaborative decision with a city official. Warnings were given by SLMPD for those involved to stop or leave the building. When those warnings were not followed, our officers and marshals took action to remove the individuals.
Eventually, Mayor Spencer was able to tell residents of the state of city services, especially the water department, and of her mandate to get back to basics.
That change has started. Our city is on the path to a turnaround, and we are not nearly as far away as some people might think.
Spencer did try to speak with protesters before the arrest.
We should all be thinking about where we've come from, where our city has been. It is clear to me, and it's clear to everyone in this space, that our city is coming from a place of hurt, that our city is in pain, that our city is in crisis in many ways. Thank you for reminding us that we should be thinking about where we're coming from.
The protesters were upset about the pace of tornado recovery. Mayor Spencer blames the federal government's relative absence compared to previous storms for slowing the pace.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
And Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game. Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug! Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down. Hey! Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection!
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mirafiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mirafiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
7:35 and time for your money report from Bloomberg. It is sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Get ready for more headaches if you're flying over the next few months as airlines around the world make cuts and ground planes to cope with higher jet fuel prices due to the war in Iran. Analytics firm Cirium says global capacity for May has already been reduced by about 3%, with all but one of the 20 largest airlines slashing flights. All major U.S. airlines have already hiked baggage fees. AI may be controversial, but it's popular among U.S. shoppers. Adobe says AI traffic to U.S. retail websites is up 269% year over year, with more than a third of shoppers now using AI to help make purchases. And job competition's getting tough for the class of 2026. According to job listings platform Handshake, graduating seniors are submitting 23 applications for every full-time role posted. That's because unemployment among college grads has been tracking higher than the national average since the pandemic, with entry-level postings plummeting across many industries, including tech and finance. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER. Are you seeing for sale signs go up in your neighborhood and you're wondering, is my home going to sell quickly? The thing you need to do is stop comparing yourself and just get yourself the right agent. The agent who will sell your home because she guarantees it in writing. That would be Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. While a lot of realtors maybe sell a few homes a year or maybe a few dozen, Gloria sells hundreds of homes a year. She's closing on homes every couple of days, and that's because Gloria has the buyers. And she has an upfront written guarantee. She will also sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. So if you have other things to do than sit around and just wait and have countless people tromp through your house looking into your bedrooms, Call Gloria Lou, your home sold guaranteed realty. Ask her all your questions. 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. You can find more online right now at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Missouri's laws are clear. Unregulated gaming devices are illegal. Companies have been telling businesses that gray market machines are legal. That's wrong. Don't be scammed. If you have these devices at your business, you could be subject to criminal and civil penalties. Unplug and remove these devices today.
If you've been approached to host illegal gaming machines, call now 800-523-1434 or visit ago.mo.gov. Sponsored by the Attorney General's Office.
Beat the spring cleaning rush at Zero Res. This week, buy one room of carpet, get one cleaned for free. Unlimited rooms and whole system air duct cleaning for just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com. That's ZeroResSTL.com. I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors. Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Today, the Cards, the Marlins.
Ameren Total Access 445. First pitch 540.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 7:39. A group of more than 30 mourners gathered in a parking lot in Shreveport, Louisiana to honor the lives of 8 children who were fatally shot in a mass shooting on Sunday. A Louisiana father fatally shot 8 children, including 7 of his own, including an early morning attack on his family that stretched across 2 houses in the neighborhood. The 2 women, including the gunman's wife, who was the mother of their children, were also shot and critically injured. The gunman, identified as 31-year-old Shamar Elkins, died after a police pursuit that ended with officers firing on him.
A second round of talks scheduled to take place in Pakistan between Iran and the U.S. today. However, Iran says it never agreed to another round of talks. This comes a day after the U.S. seized an Iranian cargo ship near the Strait of Hormuz.
The Trump administration is launching a platform where businesses can ask to be refunded for some of the tariffs they paid. Due to the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling that the tariffs enacted by President Trump were illegal, the government is responsible for refunding U.S. importers the money they paid in tariffs. CBS reports that payout could total $175 billion in refunds, including interest.
It's 7:40, and it's time for traffic and weather. The weather's going to be pretty nice today. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But first, the roadways. Roger Brand has the day off, and it's Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And we're sponsored by the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, westbound on Highway 64. You're on the brakes now, approaching an accident scene at Illinois 159. Reportedly, a couple lanes closed there, so you got a little bit of a slowdown. West of there, a great run towards downtown St. Louis on westbound 64, delay-free, crossing the Poplar on westbound 55-64. You've got your normal slow pockets northbound on 55, starting at Bayless through the road construction, and then pockets of off-the-pace traffic between 55-44 on northbound Highway 270, back on the brakes again, Big Bend up through Doherty Ferry and Manchester Road. Eastbound 64 could see a little bit of extra volume now east of Lindbergh, headed towards Big Bend. Our next traffic update at 7:50. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with a fantastic forecast this week.
Tom, it's going to be really nice for the coming days, and today's the coolest of the bunch at 69 for a high with sunshine. And tonight, not as cool as last night. Clear to partly cloudy skies, low to mid-50s. With partly sunny skies tomorrow, if not mostly sunny skies, it gets breezy and much warmer with a high of 81. Good deal of sunshine on Wednesday, the high 81. Low 80s Thursday, partly sunny. Now, Friday, there is the one clunker in the forecast as a frontal system moves in. There'll be a couple of showers and maybe a thunderstorm. Friday's high 72. But between now and then, it's going to be nice. 44 right now at St. Peter's, 47 in Florissant. It's mostly sunny, 49 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
742, the price of tomatoes skyrocketing, and that's leaving some restaurant owners making hard decisions. We get more from CBS's Lauren Linder in Pittsburgh.
Bubba Snyder says they had to make the difficult decision to hold tomatoes on your burgers or sandwiches. It's because the costs are spiking. One 25-pound box went from $25 to $65. This week, it jumped to $105.
I was like, this is ridiculous.
It comes after Florida saw a deep freeze during its peak season, and Mexico experienced wet weather, shrinking the crop size. On top of this, the 17% tariff on tomatoes from Mexico, along with increasing diesel and fertilizer prices due to the war in Iran, are not helping matters.
There may be some relief on the horizon. Some Florida growers say they should be able to ship out their latest crop of tomatoes within the next couple of weeks.
1/3 of parents say their young adult children aren't getting enough physical activity. A University of Michigan poll focused on young adults age 18 to 25. UM pediatrician Dr. Susan Wolford says many of them miss the structure of high school gym and sports. She suggests young adults try to socialize more and find workout buddies.
If one could get them into sort of more social activities, similar to things that they would have done when they were younger and in school, that might also be a way to make them enjoy it enough that they'll want to do it more and build it into their day-to-day lives.
No rest or carb loading required. A robot goes where no human runner has gone before.
A robot shattered the human record for a half marathon at a race in Beijing. The bright red 5'5" android named Lightning lived up to its name, crossing the finish line in 50 minutes and 26 seconds. That beats Ugandan runner Jacob Kiplimo's record of 57 minutes and 20 seconds in Lisbon last month. Lightning, who was modeled on outstanding human athletes, did crash into a barricade, but managed to pick itself up with some help from some humans and swing its short forearms to rebalance. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Houston, Texas, the home of Mason Wynn. Did he put on a show over the weekend? He hit a home run on Saturday, and on Sunday he did this. 4-4 game, top of the 10th. Bases loaded. Ricky Horton on the microphone.
Bases loaded, 1 out in the 10th. The pitch to Wynn is hit hard. Fair ball inside the third base bag. 1 run scores. Here comes Walker. Urias is rounding third. He's going to score on the triple by Mason Wynn. A 3-run triple in the 10th. 7-4 Cardinals.
Cards won at 7-5, swept the Astros.
I just try to, just trust the preparation. Just trusting what we're doing in the cages with the hitting staff, and I just wanted to go out there, try to do a job. Tried to hit the ball in the air, but, sometimes it pays to be lucky, so that was a good one.
Yeah, lucky or talented, and back home, how nice is it being here and doing that in front of your family?
It's the best. I got 30 of them up there screaming my name, so, knowing that they're backing me up every second of the way is amazing, and, knowing I got these great teammates behind me as well is also a blessing.
Yeah, you guys do a shout-out line, I know, when you go back down in that tunnel, a full, complete team win. Who are you shouting out today?
Honestly, probably just the whole pitching staff. They let us be in the game, all 3 games, and it's a tough job to go out there, especially against that lineup. So honestly, probably just the whole pitching staff, the whole series.
It's a ton of ground balls from the staff. How much fun is that playing behind them?
Oh, I love it. I was making fun of Libby because I don't think I got a single one from him today, but no, that's what they do. They're pitch to contact, and we got a great defense behind them for a reason.
You shared a special story with me in spring about your glove and your mentor, Anthony Young, your father figure who passed away. You knew him in Houston. Do you think about him in these moments?
Always, yeah. He's always with me. I know he's looking down on me. He's always on my glove, so I know he's with me every step of the way. His family's here as well today, so I'm glad I got to show out for him.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Mason Wynn with Danny Wexelman on Cardinals TV. Cardinals sweep the series. They win at 7-5. They visit the Marlins today at 5:40 with a 4:45 pregame, and they're a half game out of first in the National League Central. Let's turn our attention to hockey. You want to hear a building? Check this out. Buffalo hosting Boston. First playoff game for the Sabres in 15 years. You know by now the suffering that Buffalo sports fans have been through. Well, they're down 2-0 in the third inning to the Bruins. And then Tage Thompson scored back-to-back goals in a 3:42 span in the third to tie the game, and they're still buzzing about that. the call on Sportsnet.
McLeod carries up ice and tosses in. Stick breaks on the back end for Hampus Lindholm. He gets a handoff. Here's a pass. A shot. Score! Martin Samuelsson! Absolute madness!
Wow. Martin Samuelsson with the game breaker, and then they scored an empty netter. They win it 4-3 over the Bruins, take game one of that series with 4 goals in the third period to win that game. Also, in the Stanley Cup playoffs, Vegas pulled off a victory in the first round. Vegas was able to overtake the Utah Mammoth. That final score was 4-2. Colorado beat Los Angeles 2-1, and Montreal beat Tampa Bay in overtime 4-3. In the NBA, Boston, Oklahoma City, Orlando on the road, and San Antonio were all victorious, which takes us to our Circus Sports Parlay of the Day, sponsored by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. Man, oh man, I had told you yesterday, Boston, no question about it, take it. I had Boston minus 13, and I told you to take the over 214.5. You know what 123 plus 91 is? 214. Missed it by a half point, for goodness sakes. Now, I'm going to give you a quick parlay of the day for today, and that is I like all 3 home teams today and the spread. So Cleveland minus 8.5 against Toronto. The Knicks minus 5.5 against Atlanta. Denver minus 6.5 against Minnesota. I like all 3. It's 7:49.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave Glover. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free and 24 months with no payments or interest, plus $500 off. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex. It's the latest tool available at supplement superstores to get you moving down the path you want to when it comes to being in great shape. This is not a fat burner. It is a complete metabolism system. It's Burn Balance Edge for the guys, Burn Balance Zen for the ladies. So make sure you ask for the right one when you go in. But what this does is makes your body work the right way. So what I've noticed in a short amount of time so far, metabolism is great. I mean, you're starting to feel, in fact, I can feel it. Shirts are fitting a little looser. The belt pulls a little tighter. And on top of that metabolism boost, you're also getting some reductions in stress and cortisol levels. You're getting appetite control, craving control throughout the day, all day focused energy with no jitters and crash. And look, it isn't magic. You need to do the work, but I'll tell you this, it's a good assistant. It helps a lot to make the right decisions. So if you want long-lasting results, go to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KingdomOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:52, here is Frank Ladd and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Debbie, that crash is out of the way westbound on Highway 64 at Illinois 159. West of there, no problems to report, headed towards the Poplar. Northbound on Highway 55, you slow down approaching the work zone. Those delays started about Bayless. Northbound on Highway 270, just pockets of off the pace volume approaching 44. Back on the brakes again between Big Bend and Manchester Road, headed up towards Highway 64. Our next traffic update at 7:58. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunny and 69 today, partly cloudy, low 53 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny again, breezy and warmer, and a high of 81. It's 45 right now.
It is 7:53. 6 area St. Louisans facing charges in an $8.3 million pandemic fraud case. The Justice Department says one of the suspects, 64-year-old Raymond Porter Jr., is facing 28 felony counts. Porter and 2 others have been taken into custody. The indictment accuses the conspirators of submitting at least 40 fraudulent applications between March 2020 and December 2024 for Paycheck Protection Program loans and economic injury disaster loans.
As a massive tax reform bill inches closer to Governor Kehoe's desk, are there concerns the economy could impact voters' appetite for change?
Missouri voters will get the final say on the plan to phase out the income tax and replace it with a sales tax. Despite a flat job market and inflation and gas prices rising, Governor Kehoe isn't concerned.
This puts almost $9 billion annually back into Missourians' pockets.
Kehoe says that money will help spur Missouri's economy in a better direction. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
An Illinois lawmaker says their schedule in Springfield is costing voters.
The spring legislative session includes just 9 weeks in which both the Illinois House and Senate will be present in Springfield. Kelly Cassidy, a state representative from Chicago, says something needs to change.
We've got this bifurcated calendar that doesn't match up between the two chambers. And that means there's, this small handful of days that a lobby day is feasible, right? These organizations rent buses and get meals, and people take days off work and all of that. And it's just not practical to try to come twice.
Kelly is calling for the House and Senate to come up with a more aligned calendar for next year. Andy Dane, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
This is a unique situation because this is a unique individual.
Illinois Senator Dick Durbin on C-SPAN about what he calls corruption in President Trump and his family making $1.4 billion in, quote, backdoor deals.
And you would think the Republicans, what was left of them, would have had enough of this by now. But they're going to have to lose an election for that to happen, and maybe that happens in November.
A restaurant owner in the Metro East accused of cheating Illinois out of thousands in sales taxes. Belleville resident Saran Purabat is accused of defrauding the state out of at least $103,500 in sales tax revenue between February 2013 and February 2024.
The 54-year-old is the former owner of Zap Thai restaurant at Edwardsville. He's charged with 39 counts of fraudulently filing of sales and using tax returns, among other charges. Purabat's next court date is May 11th.
It is now 7:56. This is Total Information AM.
One city, one voice. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
It's a big week for the Missouri Athletic Club. Tom Ackerman here for the MAC. The week has arrived. It is time for the ribbon cutting. That is going to be happening this week on the MAC Clayton. The MAC is opening its 3rd clubhouse. It's on the 14th and 15th floors of the East Tower of the Pierre Laclede Center in Clayton. Upscale dining, bar and event space, co-working and business amenities, multiple lounge areas, a cigar lounge. The event is going to be a ribbon-cutting ceremony coming up this Wednesday. The MAC, their mission is to create extraordinary experiences across all aspects of club life, guided by a commitment to excellence, service, and tradition. And what a great time this is going to be at the MAC this week, a long-awaited MAC Clayton opening. We're also downtown, as you well know, 405 Washington Avenue, the historic building there, and the MAC West in Town and Country, and now the MAC Clayton. What a year for the Missouri Athletic Club. Cannot wait. MAC-STL.org.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
Next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Our annual Customer Appreciation Days are back. Save 10 to 20% on your garden and landscape needs on April 24th through 25th. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com for more details. KMOX will be live on site Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hey, we have someone just discovered us on YouTube for the first time. Said, what is this? I want to take a look. And then said, hey, congratulations on 100 years. So you know what? Sometimes you just assume everybody knows what KMOX is. That's why we're on YouTube. We welcome in this person,
Hello.
WT, from wherever.
From wherever.
It's 7:59. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Tom, wherever you're headed, it's going to be essentially delay-free. We don't have much volume headed northbound on Highway 270 this morning between 55, 44, and 64. The only heavier pocket is northbound 55 approaching the work zone at Bayless. I'm Frank Ladd with traffic in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, today is Monday, April 20th. Businesses can start applying for tariff refunds today. Will consumers see any benefit? Megan Lynch talks to WashU economist John Horn after the news.
A freighter tries to run the U.S. blockade of Iran. We will get the latest from CBS News military analyst Jeff McCausland.
There is a four-letter word that could save your life. We get a preview of TEDx St. Louis coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A nice day today with plenty of sunshine and a high of 69.
It's 8 o'clock.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Warning shots fired at an Iranian cargo ship near the Strait of Hormuz before American Marines seized it, putting a new round of U.S.-Iranian peace talks in jeopardy. Correspondent Charlie Daggett from Tel Aviv.
This morning, Iranian officials described the capture of that merchant vessel as a hijacking and an act of piracy. Now, we know that ship had been identified under U.S. sanctions, but it's not exactly clear what it was carrying.
Iran says it hasn't decided whether it'll join peace talks in Pakistan. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz.
Anybody who has dealt with the Iranians will tell you it is often 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. They're incredibly slippery. They can't be trusted.
The ceasefire runs out Wednesday. The U.S. military has attacked another suspected drug smuggling boat in the Caribbean. CBS's Vicki Barker.
Aerial video released by Southern Command shows a white flash, then massive flames engulfing a speedboat. The accompanying press release claims 3 male narco-terrorists, its words, were killed in the, quote, lethal kinetic strike on a vessel operated by designated terrorist organizations. No supporting evidence was offered except to say the vessel was operating in a known narco-trafficking route.
Now to the nation's deadliest mass shooting in more than 2 years. Police in Shreveport, Louisiana, say a former National Guardsman went on a rampage against his own children. CBS's Jason Allen is there.
The coroner's office released the names, the ages of all those children, 5 girls and 3 boys, all between the ages of 3 and 11 years old. Elkinson previously pleaded guilty to a weapons charge. That was back in 2019. Police are still investigating what it was that led up to this incident.
7 of the 8 victims were his children. Police say the suspect shot and critically wounded his wife and another woman before police killed him. Business owners can sign up starting today if they believe they're due money back from the government for tariffs ruled illegal by the Supreme Court. CBS's Jolene Kent says the process isn't so simple.
The burden is falling on individual businesses, the importers, to get their money back. So it's called the CAPE portal that goes live today on the Customs and Border Patrol's website. Businesses should apply there. Then their request has to be approved before payments go out. That's expected to be about 60 to 90 days.
Pope Leo's still on the road in Africa. During his second day in Angola, he said his primary mission is to preach peace to the people of Africa and not to the White House. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible? Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, April 20th. I'm Megan Lynch. There are still a lot of unanswered questions about a mass shooting in Centralia, Illinois last night. The shooting happened around 5 p.m. near the 900 block of East Kell Street in Centralia. That's according to local Centralia outlet WFCN News. Multiple law enforcement agencies responded to the scene. Multiple victims were hospitalized. The total number of victims has not been released. Police have still not talked about anything leading up to the shooting. KMOX will report any updates as they're made available. A triple shooting at a food truck in Ferguson leaves one person dead. It happened before 6:30 Sunday evening in the 10,900 block of New Halls Ferry Road. Ferguson police responded to the call and found 3 victims suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. The adult male victim died at the hospital. 2 adult female victims transported to an area hospital for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. An early investigation indicates a suspect in a vehicle fled after opening fire into a crowd near a food truck in the parking lot. No suspects in custody at this time.
I cannot hear you when you're screaming. I want to hear what, I see you and I hear you.
Protesters interrupted Mayor Kara Spencer's first State of the City address Friday night.
The start of Spencer's speech was delayed by more than 20 minutes. St. Louis police and city marshals arrested 5 people who face peace disturbance, resisting arrest, and interfering with police charges. Spokesman Mitch McCoy released a statement saying, in part, our officers and marshals were faced with a difficult and evolving situation inside a confined space. Their focus remained on restoring order and keeping everyone safe. Respecting First Amendment rights while maintaining public safety is a balance we are committed to upholding in every situation. Eventually, Mayor Spencer delivered her State of the City speech.
When I took the oath of office just a year ago, I promised a government focused on the basics: core city services, public safety, and growth. I promised that we would start proving, pothole by pothole, brick by brick, that this government, this city government, can set standards and we can meet them. We can meet them. Thank you. That change has started. Our city is on the path to a turnaround, and we are not nearly as far away as some people might think.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
The Missouri House has passed a $50.4 billion operational budget that includes a reallocation of $1 billion in support of colleges and universities. However, schools like Harris Stowe State University concerned reallocation is based on student enrollment. Last Tuesday, the Missouri Senate Appropriations Committee proposed a budget that maintains funding at last year's level. Harris Stowe's president, Dr. LaTanya Collins-Smith, tells KMOX this has a direct effect on student recruitment.
If a prospective student sees, they would probably be reluctant to come to Harris Stowe because they don't know if the future of the institution is sustainable.
The budget process is ongoing. The Senate must pass its version of the budget before it returns to the Missouri House. History made Sunday night with the first nonstop British Airways flight to the UK. Lambert International Airport Director Rhonda Homnebergy spoke with KMOX following a press conference.
I don't think people realize it's the first time in over 20 years that we have nonstop service back to London, and this is on British Airways to London Heathrow, obviously one of the most noted airlines and most notable airports in the world. So I think it shows the strength of our region.
Local leaders on the flight, part of a trade mission to England. Neil Chernoff is British Airways Chief Planning Officer.
There's people from the airport and some of the local community members who are traveling, and they're going to spend the week in London. They're going to meet with ourselves. They're going to meet with local businesses. The U.S. Embassy is hosting an event for them on Wednesday evening. And so for them, it's just part of trying to, to promote St. Louis and meet with people in the UK to promote the flight.
That inaugural flight landed in London this morning about 3:40 a.m. From the business desk, 6 area St. Louisans facing charges in an $8.3 million pandemic fraud case. In a release from the Justice Department, one of the suspects, 64-year-old Raymond Porter Jr., facing 28 felonies. Porter and 2 others have been taken into custody. The indictment accuses the conspirators of submitting at least 40 fraudulent applications between March of 2020 and December of 2024 for Paycheck Protection Program loans and economic injury disaster loans. Coming up on Total Information AM, President Trump's nominee for Fed chair talks to lawmakers this week. WashU economics professor John Horn is going to join me in studio to talk about the future of the Federal Reserve. Plus, we'll get a check of traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
The smartest way to do your homework is Hackman Lumber.
Thinking about building a new deck? Start with the deck experts at Hackman Lumber, home of one of the largest inventories of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. From treated lumber and cedar to all the leading names in decking, their experts will help you choose the perfect materials for your dream deck. Then finish it off with endless railing options, balusters, and LED deck lighting to bring your backyard to life. Hackman Lumber will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Do it yourself? Their team is ready with expert advice. Need help from a pro? They can connect you with trusted local contractors. Also, check out their expanding paint department with custom color matching. And don't forget, follow Hackman Lumber on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to catch weekly deal specials and project inspiration all season long. Or visit us at hackmanstl.com. Locations in St. Peters, Troy, and Pacific, Missouri.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenager's gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 8:10. Let's check on the slowdowns with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you're headed northbound on Highway 55, you're going to run into just a little bit of a slow pocket near Bayless headed through that work zone. North of there, not seeing too many issues. Making your way up to downtown St. Louis. Northbound on Highway 270 continues to thin out. Just a little heavier pocket now north of Big Bend up through about Manchester Road. A little bunched up as well. Making your way towards Highway 64. That left lane is heavy southbound on Highway 170, approaching Highway 64 from about the Galleria Parkway. And a little off the pace now eastbound on Highway 64 from Spady, make your way in towards Big Bend. Our next traffic update at 8:20. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you so much, Frank.
A nice day today with plenty of sunshine, or high 69. Clear to partly cloudy skies tonight, though 53. Sunshine mixed with clouds tomorrow. Breezy and noticeably warmer in the afternoon, high 81. Sunshine and a few clouds Wednesday. Another warm day, high 81. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Currently, we do have sunny skies, 47 degrees in Florissant, 46 in St. Peters, 46 downtown at the Arch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. Oil prices up again on fears that the U.S.-Iran ceasefire will collapse. Certainly, national and world events have impacted our pocketbooks recently. Joining me in studio this morning, John Horn, economics professor at the Olin Business School at Washington University in St. Louis. Thanks so much for coming in.
Sure thing, Megan. Thanks.
We got a ton to talk about. First, give us that picture of how the Iran war has impacted our economy.
The most obvious one is gas prices and inflation. The latest numbers that came out were 3.3%, which is well above what the Federal Reserve likes to target at the 2%. So that leads to all kinds of things about stresses on consumers. Consumer sentiment is at an all-time low by some measures. It's doubtful that the Federal Reserve will try to lower interest rates because of the high inflation. So there's just a lot of stress because of that.
When an economy is squeezed by high energy prices, how does that impact overall growth?
It trickles through everything. So consumers are reluctant to spend on, consumption is almost 70% of our economy. So if you're paying more for gas, you're paying less for other things. If you're paying more for your utilities, but then even like everyday prices start to get stressed because transportation to get things where you want, that is based on oil prices. Airlines are really struggling right now with the jet fuel price increases. So it's not just what you pay at the gas tank, it's everything is sort of reliant on energy.
Even with this, though, it seems like the markets are showing a lot of resilience. What's the disconnect there?
I think part of it is probably because the market for the last year or so has really been focused on data center build out. And data center, yeah, it's reliant on energy, but that sort of is a secondary. We'll figure that out down the road. But building out data centers is sort of we think this is still going to happen unless prices go through the roof is probably what's going on. Plus we think the ceasefire is going to hold, so stock prices increase, but then the ceasefire may not hold, so the stock prices go down. So there's just a lot of uncertainty going on.
All righty, let's look at the Federal Reserve. A lot going on with this in the last week. President Trump once again threatening to fire Chair Jerome Powell. His term is actually set to expire in about a month. Mm-hmm. When signals like this are sent, what's that do to confidence in the central bank?
So I think for businesses, it's less about the confidence in the bank and more of the uncertainty about what they're going to do. So, if Chairman Powell leads the next meeting after he technically is supposed to retire and they haven't had a new chairperson put in place, will there start to be lawsuits of, well, that was that wasn't really a viable choice because he wasn't technically supposed to be leading it. There are all kinds of these uncertainties that we could get involved in. I think, like we've talked about so many times, uncertainty is what businesses don't like.
Let's talk about, who has been nominated as the next Fed chair, Kevin Warsh. He appears before a Senate hearing tomorrow. He's leveled a lot of critiques at the Fed, but some people say he's been really short on details on what he would do to improve things. So, what do we need to hear from him?
Well, as with so many of the confirmation hearings, people who are up for confirmation sort of say what they think the senators need to say to get confirmed. I don't know that there's much that he could say that would change perceptions. I would be shocked if he came out and had, I'm going to slash interest rates to 1.5%. And I think that he'll probably be saying things like, I will look at the economy. I'll work with the fellow governors. I would be my expectation, but, we'll see.
Ultimately, when it comes to interest rates, what would you expect over the next couple of meetings?
I think if inflation stays high because of the Iran war and gas prices staying elevated, I would be shocked if they lowered interest rates because I don't know that it would do that much to the economy necessarily because, yes, it would means we should invest. But if you're an investor, are you going to go out and start investing in business if you don't know what the future of oil prices is going to be? And if you're a consumer, are you going to say, mortgage rates went down a little bit, but I'm paying so much more for all these other things. Do I want to go buy a house now just because rates tick down a little bit? So, it'll have some effect if the rates went down, but I don't know that it would be that massive jolt to the economy anyway. But I would be surprised if interest rates went down if inflation stayed above 3%.
John, let's turn to the tariff and trade picture. First off, U.S. businesses, today is the first day that they can start to apply for those tariff refunds. The Supreme Court, of course, ruled that those were illegal. What do you think we can expect from this process?
Messiness. I think, it's mostly going to be large businesses that have records of what they paid for which tariffs with which importers from which countries. Small, medium-sized businesses probably don't have those records. And, it's also challenging if you're the importer who then, earlier in the supply chain then sends it to a distributor who then sends it to the business. It's really the importer who's paying that tariff, and the company down the line who, like the toy seller in the U.S., they're not the one necessarily importing directly. They might be importing from some other company that is managing all that. So it's the importer who is paying the tariff, and they're the ones who would have to claim the refund. The business itself down the supply chain won't necessarily see that money being refunded down to them. And, it again, messy because it's all about the records and what records are going to be accepted and how long that process will take.
A lot of businesses said, they were trying to hold the line and not pass a lot of this on to consumers, but some of it did get passed along. So from a consumer standpoint, will we see any benefit from these refunds?
I would be surprised because, you might see a little bit if, some of the bigger companies that were importing directly, they may try to do something like, hey, we've gotten, so many billions of dollars back in refunds. We're going to give our, to our, members. Like, I'm not saying these are the companies that are going to do it, but you think of like a Walmart or an Amazon or a Costco that have memberships, right? They may say we're going to give a rebate to some of our customers, but a small retailer that, may see some from their importer probably is not going to be able to go back and refund customers who bought something, and probably aren't going to reduce prices in the future because who knows if these tariffs are going to be put back in place from some other process.
Let's talk about the trade picture. What changes have you seen since we've had this roller coaster of tariffs in the last year?
Trade has been stressed around the world, and there's been, there's been shifts in where companies and where countries are trying to make trade relationships. China has been making more of a push on the world stage to say, hey, we're not doing this. This isn't us. What you're going to get when you trade with us, so we should trade. On the other hand, because China has so many exports that went to the United States before, they are still producing stuff and have nowhere to send it. And so they've been sending it all over the world. And a lot of other countries are saying, wait, that's too much for us to take in. So it's just created, again, a lot of messiness around the world. And we'll see how this plays out.
So last minute here for you, for our listeners, all the things we've talked about today, how do we personally weather this, with our own, paychecks at home?
I think it comes down to just being more mindful about where you're spending money and how you're spending money and where you're making investments. A lot of times that doesn't mean we should start becoming day traders, and it doesn't mean we should start, watching every single penny necessarily, but, thinking about what your budget is every week instead of maybe every month, or really paying attention to the credit card bill and seeing, wait, what did I spend? I think would make a lot of sense just because prices are changing so fast and things are changing so fast that you don't want to wait 6 months and then look back and say, ooh, that's where I am right now. So I would just say being a little more mindful of where you're spending and what you're spending on so that you're not surprised.
John, thank you so much. Appreciate having you in here.
Absolutely, Megan. Thank you.
That is John Horan, economics professor at the Olin Business School at WashU. Coming up on Total Information AM, a freighter tries to run the U.S. blockade of Iran. We're going to get the latest from CBS News military analyst Jeff McCausland in moments. And then hidden AI may be impacting your insurance rates. We'll learn more. Let's see how things are going as you head into work to make that money. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We remain incident-free out there on the highways, Megan. Headed northbound on Highway 270. Just going to see some volume north of Big Bend in pockets. Headed up towards Highway 64. Northbound on Highway 55. Easing headed into the work zone starting at Bayless up through about Loughborough. East and westbound on Highway 64. A little bit of volume now between Big Bend and about Spady Road through that central corridor. Coming in from St. Charles County. No problems to report all morning long. Eastbound on Highway 70. Eastbound 370. Eastbound on Highway 64. Our next traffic update at 8:30, Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
It's time to check out the exterior of your home. Tom Ackerman with you. Siding and windows, two things that can make your home look like the best home in the neighborhood. It just makes a huge difference. And the best in the business is Banner Construction. Since 1993, they have been the best when it comes to Pella windows. They're a Pella window specialist. They're a preferred James Hardie contractor. They are Banner Construction. You don't want to go with a company that doesn't entirely know what it's doing or tries to cut corners or hasn't been around for a very long time. 1993 is when they started, so over 30 years of excellence. Go online and see for yourself all the great examples at bannerconstruction.com. Banner Construction will come over to your home. They'll give you a free in-home consultation. You're going to love their team. I really appreciate Banner Construction and what they do here in St. Louis. Visit them online, bannerconstruction.com, 314-569-1050, and have a banner day.
In digital advertising, everyone talks about clicks, but clicks don't pay the bills. Sales do. Outcomes from Viant is a new way to advertise that prioritizes your bottom line. Our AI-driven technology looks past the noise to find the customers most likely to buy your product. It's smarter, faster, and designed for real-world results. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Helping your inner circle prepare for emergencies can start in many ways. Put together an emergency kit with Wipewool. Create a family communication plan with your tita. Remind Bai to keep a backup battery charged. It all starts with a simple step, telling those you care about to be ready for the worst. So start a conversation and plan for emergencies together. Get more tips at ready.gov/start. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. You know, there are real things to talk about amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m., and I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. A ceasefire between the United States and Iran could be in jeopardy. The U.S. has seized an Iranian cargo ship that tried to run its blockade. Tehran vowing to retaliate. Joining me this morning, CBS News military analyst Jeff McCausland. Colonel, I'm really curious. Historically, how successful are blockades as a tactic to force concessions?
Well, they have been fairly successful. They take an awful lot of time, Megan, and oftentimes it'll take months, and I've seen blockades lasting even years that historically had a diplomatic solution to them. I mean, one might think of more rapid ones in the modern times. Though it was called a quarantine for a host of reasons, it was actually a blockade of Cuba in 1962, which led to a resolution of the Cuban Missile Crisis. But there are other variables that caused that, I think, to occur rather quickly. But normally it takes a good long period of time. For the Iranians right now, we need to measure it for them. They are suffering probably a loss of $400 million a day in exports. And this is for a country that's suffering enormous economic distress, 40% inflation, 20% unemployment. And that was even before we had begun the conflict, which inflicted about 13,000 targets on them. So for them right now, probably having a great effect.
When we talk about this freighter that was seized by the United States, do you think this was something that was a deliberate test of the blockade by Iran, or simply, this freighter trying to get through?
I think it was probably the former. I think it was probably deliberate. I mean, very little passes down through the Persian Gulf and the Straits of Hormuz right now without the concurrence of the Iranian leadership, most importantly, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. So I think it was an attempt by them to test the United States' resolve, and they discovered that, in fact, we were going to enforce this blockade to the fullest.
How concerned should the United States be about Iranian threats of retaliation?
I think quite concerned, because, of course, the president has threatened that if this collapses in the next few days, then the United States will recommence hostilities to include aerial strikes on Iranian infrastructure, most notably energy infrastructure, bridges, etc. The Iranians, for their case, have responded by saying, if you do that, we'll respond by similar attacks all across the Gulf. There are estimates they may have half of their missile launchers remaining. They may have 40% or more of their attack drones remaining. And we know they had some suggestions as high as 80,000 drones before the war began. And they can inflict massive damage across the region in addition to what they've already done. They've even threatened to go after desalination plants, which many of these countries, Kuwait, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, are very dependent upon. I read one study that suggests that some of the major cities there in the Gulf might actually be uninhabitable if, in fact, they are deprived of desalination of water.
That's CBS News military analyst, retired Colonel Jeff McCausland. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
It's now 8:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hire them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. Ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
It's 8:30. Let's see how things are moving on the roads now with Frank Ladd. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And this update is brought to you by the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Our USPS Ground Advantage reliable route this morning, all day long, has been eastbound, westbound Highway 70 coming in and out of St. Louis. Not seeing any delays. There have been no incidents. We are delay-free now from downtown all the way out through to Highway 270. We still have some volume on northbound 270 now from about Doherty Ferry up through about 64. It's not stop and go in that stretch. And we're thinning out northbound on Highway 55 through the work zone. Eastbound on Highway 64, you're going to tap the brakes now from about Clayton, Warson into about Big Bend. East of there, a great run towards downtown St. Louis. Our next traffic update at 8:40. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's going to be a mostly sunny day with a high of 69, clear to partly cloudy tonight, an overnight low of 53, and then partly sunny, breezy, warmer tomorrow with a high of 81. We have sunny skies, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. Artificial intelligence could be influencing the rates you pay for insurance or loans. Neil Sahota is an IBM master inventor, United Nations AI advisor, and an AI strategist. He says companies are using AI to look at your patterns. That includes shopping behavior, location data, and other clues. It's the ultimate actuary.
Sadly, it is. I mean, think about it. It's analyzing probably 10 to 20,000 data points out of our lives that for most of us are just subconscious that we wouldn't think twice about.
AI can even scan for data points we don't have control over, like pictures someone else posts of us online.
It's not just past behavior, it's not just incomes, all these things. There are really very subtle actions they're taking every day that are magnified through the AI lens.
How do we filter out what we don't want included?
That is hard because the insurance companies have a vast set of data on us. You know, I always talk about that we actually have a AI shadow we don't even realize.
And Sahota points out one of the best applications for AI is risk reduction.
Well, guess what insurance is obsessed with, right? Risk reduction. I mean, they're looking at even certain things and have an AI just track and say, hey, you have a recurring bill, like your cell phone bill, you pay it on the same day each month. Right? And we don't even normally think about that. That actually matters.
He recommends reviewing your credit report as well as your LexisNexis consumer report. Sahota says it also helps to stabilize your payment and banking behavior. Plus, he suggests shopping for insurance every year because AI risk models vary between providers. It's 8:33. Your money report is next.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
It's time for your money report now, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
The White House is considering tougher trade rules that would make it more expensive to import cars into the U.S. Sources tell Bloomberg the Trump administration has discussed requiring vehicle imports to have a minimum amount of parts made in the U.S. Another option would limit the ability of automakers to lower their tariff rates under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement. No comment from the White House. Turning to Wall Street action, stock futures are under pressure this morning after a turbulent weekend in the Middle East. Peace talks between Washington and Iran thrown into uncertainty. On Friday, the Dow soared 869 points to wrap up the session. And the owner of Dunkin' and Arby's is one step closer to becoming a public company. Sources tell us the banks have been picked to work on the initial public offering of Inspire brands. JP Morgan, Chase, and Bank of America are said to be among the financial firms that have been selected for the listing. Inspire's other brands include Sonic and Buffalo Wild Wings. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex. It's the latest tool available at supplement superstores to get you moving down the path you want to when it comes to being in great shape. This is not a fat burner. It is a complete metabolism system. It's Burn Balance Edge for the guys, Burn Balance Zen for the ladies. So make sure you ask for the right one when you go in. But what this does is makes your body work the right way. So what I've noticed in a short amount of time so far, metabolism is great. I mean, you're starting to feel, in fact, I can feel it. Shirts are fitting a little looser. The belt pulls a little tighter. And on top of that metabolism boost, you're also getting some reductions in stress and cortisol levels. You're getting appetite control, craving control throughout the day, all day focused energy with no jitters and crash. And look, it isn't magic. You need to do the work. But I'll tell you this. it's a good assistant. It helps a lot to make the right decisions. So if you want long-lasting results, go to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Beat the spring cleaning rush at Zero Res. This is the perfect time to clean your air ducts as you deal with allergy season, furnace, and air conditioning efficiency, post-winter, and more. Your air ducts are like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air suffers. Just check out the 5,900 Google reviews with 4.9 ratings. This month, get a whole system air duct cleaning for just $599. Pay less for fresh. 314-474-2020 or go online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Average gas prices in St. Louis fell almost 6 cents per gallon in the last week. That's according to Gas Buddy, which reports gas prices are still 21 cents higher than they were in the region a year ago today. U.S. businesses that paid tariffs the Supreme Court ruled were illegal can start applying for refunds today. Those refunds could top an estimated $166 billion. And CBS News reporting this morning that the National Republican Congressional Committee touting a record-breaking fundraising haul to start the 2026 midterm cycle. The committee raised $47.1 million in the first 3 months of the year. Let's get you an update on your ride into work with Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Megan, I'm watching emergency vehicles head toward an accident northbound on Highway 270 just south of Olive. It's over on the right shoulder, but as these emergency vehicles show up to the scene, looks like that right lane, that right exit lane for Olive is going to be blocked here northbound on Highway 270. Northbound on 270, we're thinning out as well between 55, 44, all the way up through to 64. Just a little off the pace stretch now between Manchester Road and Highway 64. And you have a little bit of volume, not stop and go, headed eastbound on Highway 64 from Clayton Warson, headed towards Big Bend. And we're sponsored by the Missouri History Museum's Route 66 Centennial Festival, April 30th through May 3rd. Don't miss the Route 66 Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Music from Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon displays, kids crafts, and more. Find the schedule at mohistory.org/festival. I'm Frank Ladd with traffic in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Still ahead this hour on Total Information AM, there's a 4-letter word that could save your life. We're going to get a preview of TEDx St. Louis with Debbie Monterey. Plus, coming up next, we'll tell you about a celebration for the man who perfected the geodesic dome. First, the forecast, mostly sunny today with a high of 69. Clear to partly cloudy tonight. We're expecting an overnight low of 53. And then tomorrow, partly sunny day, but it will be warmer with a high of 81. Pretty much the same on Wednesday. Sunny, a high 81. Right now, sunny skies, 46 degrees in downtown St. Louis. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. We know him for the geodesic dome, but he was so much more. Buckminster Fuller was an American architect, systems theorist, writer, designer, inventor, philosopher, even a futurist. And he did some of his greatest work in Illinois at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. The university will celebrate his legacy this week. With me now, Elizabeth Donahue, SIU Carbondale University Honors Program Assistant Director and President of the Fuller Dome Home Museum. Elizabeth, thanks so much for being with me this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about his legacy. You know, I think we all know, like we think of the Epcot Center and we think of Bucky Fuller. When did he get to SIU and what were some of the things he created there?
Yeah, his legacy is so huge that I think it gets lost in he patented the geodesic dome because he's influenced so many people in so many disciplines. He came to Carbondale in '59, but really he was working before that. He gave a speech in Edwardsville. A lot of people don't know this, that before that university was even built, that speech became a book known as Education Automation, in which he was making the case that education would be automated and that in a new reality that we don't quite see yet, which he was definitely a futurist because some of the things coming to right now are things he was actually talking about but may not have been able to describe concretely, right?
What was his role in the sustainability movement?
Yeah, so Buckminster Fuller is often considered the father of the modern sustainability movement. He was ahead of his time in that he was calling for us to do more with less. I think the biggest thing too, and this gets me when I've been watching closely the Artemis II journey and the astronauts talking about that moment of seeing the Earth, from afar, and the fact that it's a spaceship. And Buckminster Fuller was using that terminology. We are crew members on Spaceship Earth. That he was saying that in the 60s. And so he was advocating for us to start with the universe. And that is kind of why he launched the World Game here. He was asked to actually participate in war games. And his answer to that was creating the World Peace Game, in which he created this game activity taking place on a large Dymaxion map, which we have updated with the most recent climate data, which is kind of very cool. It's going to be over 50 feet wide. And players play on that map. And the goal of the game is to see if we can make it work for 100% of humanity.
And as we mentioned, you're the president of the Fuller Dome Home Museum. Did he actually live this vision that he proposed for other people?
He did. I think he tried to as much as he possibly can. Obviously, he's human and, had flaws, but he definitely was relentless. We found one of the things we have is his personal library that was donated to us by the estate. That's over 300 volumes, but we found itineraries. Now, he died in his 80s, and we found an itinerary from when he was in his early 80s, and it would frighten any 20-year-old. He just was relentless about the fact that he had a mission to deliver this message, and he did that at every chance that he could.
What's the state of his dome home there in Carbondale at this point?
I'm so glad you asked. And that's actually, too, why this is really a pivotal moment for the festival and bringing people really from all over to come and visit. So the dome has been restored. We got a Save America's Treasure grant in 2011, I believe. And it has been a long journey to restore that dome. And then the family, the estate, gave back to us many of the materials, the original artifacts in the dome. And so that is restored, and we are giving tours. But the person that made that happen, that created the nonprofit, he like many was a design professor, not like many as far as being a design professor, but like many that he happened to see Fuller speaking, and it changed his life. He was working at the Rand Institute and decided that wasn't the direction he should go. He came to SIU to be a design professor, and he's the reason that the dome was purchased and was created. It was made into a nonprofit. When he passed away several years ago, his last parting gift was enough to get us started on the visitor center, which is right across. He always had this vision that there would be an interpretive center. And so we have the building is in the dry. We've just studied out the walls. We are making progress on the visitor center, and we really have a whole vision of creating a campus, if you will. We have a little art park area and visitor center area, and just really using it to educate more about his philosophies.
Is it true that orange sherbet was his favorite dessert? I always heard that story when I lived down there.
Yes. So I did hear that. Orange sherbet and chocolate, I believe. Yes, I have heard that multiple times.
All right, so the festival begins April 22nd. Anything else you can tell folks that would like to be a part of this?
Yes. So Bucky always said it had to be everybody or nobody. So you can go to buckminsterfuller.com, and we have a discount code there. So don't let, if you can pay a registration to support the festival, great. But if you can't, don't let that keep you from coming. And also wanted to mention our opening speaker, Medard Gable. He met Fuller while he was a student at SIU, and he worked on the World Game with Fuller, and it really became his life's work. And so to have him come back and open the festival and then also be followed by the architect that worked with Bucky, these people are they're getting older, and I think it's just a real honor to be able to hear kind of from somebody close to that living legacy. And so super excited about the opening day, but so many, if you check out the website, there's so much going on, including the Design Science Studio, which is an art-based initiative. And so we have just a lot of fun, beautiful things happening.
Elizabeth, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to interview me. Thank you.
That's Elizabeth Donahue, president of the Fuller Dome Home Museum in Carbondale. Coming up, 4 letters between you and cancer. Debbie Monterey has more on that. It's now 8:47.
Tom Ackerman here for Tim and Tom Gamma and Gamma Tree Experts and their father, Frank, who's going to be 91 this year. That means that he started this business back when he was a teenager. Gamma Tree Experts back in 1954. What a great company. What a great run they've had. Gamma Tree Experts. GammaTree.com. You can find storm damage. You can find emerald ash borer treatment. Tree trimming and limbs are going to be hanging over parts of your home that you don't want them to when those storms come through. Have Gamma Tree Experts come over, identify the issue, and take care of it right away. They're the best in the business, no question about it. They've been handling homes and businesses in St. Louis for years. All you have to do is go to GammaTree.com to get yourself started and read all about the great things that they do for homes and businesses and municipalities around the area. GammaTree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
Presented by Worldwide Technology, the BizDash 5K is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, a high-energy corporate race in St. Louis's healthiest happy hour. Thursday, May 7th at Energizer Park. Register your team at stlbizdash.com.
Thanks for joining us this morning for Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch, and here's Debbie Monterey.
Always some really thought-provoking and interesting things that come out of TEDx St. Louis, and this time they present Edge of Possible Talks. It's coming up on May 30th at the Missouri History Museum. Dr. Erica Barnell is one of the people who will be giving her TED Talk, and she is the co-founder and chief medical and science officer of Genoscopy. Thanks for joining us on KMOX.
Thank you so much for having me.
It looks like a really interesting lineup, and for sure your talk caught my attention because it's called 4 Words Between You and Cancer. So I have to ask, what are those 4 words?
Yeah, so my talk is the 4-letter word that people avoid, but it might save your life, which is poop. You know, we talk about cancer a lot, and everybody knows that cancer is a huge, horrible thing that happens, and everybody knows somebody who has cancer, but we don't always talk about how to prevent it. And one of those ways you can is using your waste. And so I'm going to be talking about that 4-letter word and how it might save your life.
That is really interesting. Do people giggle or chuckle or have an uncomfortable response to that, or a curious one? What do you think?
I think that's the best part. You know, I want to make people feel a little bit more comfortable about their body, their health, and have that ability to take ownership over their life and not feel uncomfortable, not feel that stigma, so that they can get the care they need and, make sure that they're being screened appropriately and not worry about other people thinking it's silly or whatnot.
I suppose we're examining our waste in the sewer systems to figure out where diseases are traveling and things like COVID and even drugs that people may be taking. So it's not that much of a leap for us to think about it in terms of our own personal physical health.
Yeah, I mean, you see somebody on the sidewalk picking up, their dog's poop, or if you're a mom or a dad, you're constantly thinking about fluids and things like that. And so when it comes to your healthcare, it really shouldn't be any different. It's just part of your day and something that we can actually use and pull signals out of to understand disease. So I'm really excited to kind of level set that, that stigma and try to make people a little bit more comfortable.
So how does that figure into, say, my daily life? Is this something that I should be talking to a doctor about? Is there, certain things that we can learn from this? Should I be, when I go, I'm going to be bringing my dog into the vet soon and I have to bring a poop sample. Am I supposed to do that for myself too? Or what is the takeaway message that you want people to have?
That is the message. I think my focus has been on gastrointestinal disease and ways that we can better diagnose, monitor, and treat gastrointestinal disease. And when you're specifically looking at colorectal cancer, which is now the leading cause for cancer-related deaths for individuals under 50, the best source of information is in your stool sample. And so while colonoscopy has been the gold standard and most people know about colonoscopy, the association of bowel prep and taking time off work and an invasive procedure can deter patients from getting screened. So over the last 10 years, I've built a solution where you can just poop in a cup in the comfort of your own home and send it to the lab, and we can analyze it and assess if you actually need to go on to get that invasive procedure, and just bringing to light the other options that we have for colorectal cancer screening, including a stool sample, is part of my message.
You mentioned the high rate of cancer and death in people under 50, and that, I think, is something that might shock people because generally your doctor doesn't tell you to get a colonoscopy until you're 50 or older. So what do you attribute, or do you have a theory on why younger and younger people seem to be getting colon cancer?
Yeah, it's unbelievably unfortunate and definitely something that's being impacted in the modern world that we live in. We're not really entirely sure why this is happening, but the data is very clear that incidence of colorectal cancer is rising in patients who are in their 40s, in their 30s, otherwise completely healthy individuals. I don't think you can open, a news article or a magazine or a newspaper without seeing the impact of colorectal cancer in young patients these days. And so I think the why isn't necessarily completely understood, but solving it, it could be done by improved screening or increased screening or screening patients who are younger.
There are a number of other talks going on at TEDx St. Louis Edge of Possible, including novel sleep-based treatment for psychiatric issues, which is interesting, the invisible threat of microplastics, and exploring strange mysteries that can sharpen your thinking. That's just a sample. And, of course, you'll see Dr. Erica Barnell, who is with Genoscopy, 4 letters between you and cancer. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great TED Talk.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. And I will say, if you can go online, tedxstlouis.org, if you're interested in getting tickets for this incredible event, we would be grateful to have a really appreciative audience who's interested in this really amazing lineup we have.
It's now 8:55. Make sure you listen tomorrow morning here on Total Information AM. We've heard about different developments in the St. Louis area, one after the other, but what if they were connected through something called a Missouri Innovation Zone? We're going to talk more about that tomorrow morning. Make sure you tune in at 8:10 here on Total Information AM. And it looks like we're going to have a beautiful day today. Mostly sunny, a high 69, clear to partly cloudy tonight, a low of 53. And then a warm up tomorrow, we'll hit a high of 81. Right now, we do have sunny skies, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. Chris and Amy are next.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
There's a simple fix for couples struggling with blanket hogging. Try separate blankets. The Scandinavian sleep method is a practice where two people share a bed, but each has their own blanket or comforter. No top sheet, just two single-size comforters on top of a queen or king-size bed. Experts with the Cleveland Sleep Clinic also point out it allows each partner to select the right cover for individual body temperatures. I'm Margie Schaefer.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SCHEV.
It's already April. Maybe you're planning to have some get-togethers, a graduation party, Father's Day cookout, who knows? But is your outdoor space ready? Maybe you never got around to all those improvements you had been planning. Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. And whether you're looking for a new deck or a patio, a pergola, a sunroom, a screen room, or all of the above and then some, Chesterfield Fence and Deck can make the magic happen because they have 58 years of experience and they have thousands of satisfied customers, and they offer real value because when you spend the money, you get a project that is going to last for years to come. They only